in services and losing jobs. Same scenario as raising the minimum wage. Absolutely.
Wake up with Randy Corcoran. Mornings at 5 on KLZ 560.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me weekdays from noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. We'll help with consumer problems, give you quality business referrals, let you know about the latest scams, and we'll also give great help for seniors. Weekdays, noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. Check out our website, haystackhelpradio.com.
The company you keep is who you become.
John Rush.
Rush to Reason with John Rush can now be heard during rush hour.
If you're going to hang around the left, quote unquote, all these socialist, Marxist indoctrinations, the Hillary Clintons, Barack Obamas of the world, if you're going to associate yourself with those folks, it won't take long for you to think and act and do exactly what they do.
Rush to Reason with John Rush, weekday afternoons at 3 on KLZ 560.
I have not been over to Iraq. I have not been over to Afghanistan, but I do know a lot of people who have.
Ken Clark.
They did have kids running out there trying to kill our men and women in uniform. They do use children as suicide bombers. They do teach them to be terrorists at very, very young ages. That's how they indoctrinate them. Why do you think our government wants to get a hold of our children at such a young age? Because they want to indoctrinate them into liberal mindset.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark, weekday afternoons at 1 o'clock on KLZ 560.
There's a lot of outrage, and there's a lot of reason to be outraged in this world.
Chris Cook.
Part of what I view my job is, you said, to inspire and give insight. Part of that inspiration is trying to motivate folks to get out and do the things that need to be done. Anger is a powerful motivator. That's what gets people to rallies. That's what gets people to call their congressman. That is what gets people to actually take action.
KLZ 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. John Rush, Drive Radio, along with Ken Rackley, and hopefully the snow will hold off long enough for us to get home.
That's right. If it waits till 1, I think we're good. Well,
that's exactly right.
Anyway, I've got the easiest drive this morning, so I just head straight down Parker Road, so it's not a big deal for me. But
Larry and I will have to jog up to the north. But one way, Larry and I already have a plan devised where we potentially will get home. Let's say that
exactly. Yeah,
one way or the other, we'll make it.
You figure in 3 hours, it's really got to start coming down in order for us to have trouble.
Yeah. So we got 3 hours. And if you haven't been out and about, you'll notice there is a little white stuff on the ground, and there's more coming, supposedly. And so far, most everybody's in agreement. I don't think there's too many that aren't. I did see a couple of naysayers late last night saying, it's only going to be about 3 inches or so. And, I always look at it as, we get these weather reports. We do the best we can to prep and prepare. But at the end of the day, whatever falls is whatever falls, but you need to be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
That's right.
That's right. That's all we can do.
Lines open, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. Last week, we had a record Saturday in phone calls. 51.
Wow, that's great.
It's the most we've ever done on Drive Radio. So thank you all that called in and participated. And we had lots and lots of new callers last week. So again, all of you that just started listening, we appreciate that very much. We've got lots of folks that are involved in making this show happen on a weekly basis. So not only do we want to thank them, but also want to thank you all for listening and taking time out of your Saturday. Hopefully, we're teaching you something and you're learning something throughout the day. that you can use, throughout the week and the years ahead. Actually, hopefully that's what we're doing. Last week we talked about oil a lot, and I felt like we didn't get all of that covered because we had several emails that came in after the show asking more questions about oil and oil changes and what should we do. And, that's something we can cover that anytime. It's still a hot topic. There's still a lot of misconceptions out there on what it takes when it comes to actual, oil change intervals and things like that. So if you've got any questions along those lines, we can take more calls today on that. Last week, wasn't the only week you could call in for that. So if you've got a question along those lines, again, our number 303-477-5600. Sometime today, I do want to cover some things about the potential storm coming up, things that I think you should have in your vehicle. I've got a full list of about 22 things. I've got a little clip that I interviewed yesterday. There's a phone out that's called a Spare One. It's a great little phone you can throw in the glove box of your car. Put it at home in an emergency kit. Works off of one single AA battery, and supposedly has like a 10-year or longer shelf life.
Wow!
So you can go throw it in an emergency kit. Always be able to get 911 with it.
Oh, okay.
And it works. Okay. It's pretty cool. So I'll play that at the 11 o'clock hour so our Sunday folks can actually hear that. But we'll get into talking about those things. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. We'll go right to the phones. Brian, you're first. Brian, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, hey, good morning. I've got an 08 Toyota RAV4.
Okay.
Both normal beams went out at the same time. Now, the high beams work when you push them forward for continuous on, and when you flash them. All 4 fuses are fine. I changed those out and tested them.
Okay.
Put new headlamps in them, and still only the high beams work. I was wondering what you guys might think.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things where obviously you've done the basics right there with, with to begin troubleshooting anyway. Mm-hmm. And so, and they both went out at the same time, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. There's
Does that one work off of, have you had a test light out there to determine if there's actually, power to the bulb, or have you gone that far yet?
I have not gone that far yet, no.
And I can't remember, Ken, if that's a ground operated or if that's a...
kind of what I was pulling up here. Yeah.
Those are ground operated.
I think so too.
Which means, Brian, you'd have to test those opposite of what you think, if in fact they are ground operated. And you could test that by seeing what you've got on the high beams. Is it grounding and providing high beam, providing power to the high beam circuits, what I'm trying to get at. But I think they're powered all the time, and they ground to actually make each filament engage.
Okay.
I believe. I don't quote me. Ken's looking that up as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I'm quiet, it's because I'm
he's typing
looking up something.
That's right, because he's looking. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. And either way, either you, Brian, or a technician is going to have to get a test light out to the actual, the bulb area, and that's like any other electrical problem. You start at the source of the problem and work backwards.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does. Now, do you guys have a facility out in Lakewood?
We do. Actually, Four Seasons is out there. It's right up their alley. It'd be perfect for them.
Okay. Excellent.
And I'll tell you what, I'll put you on hold, and Larry can get you a phone number and an address for those guys at Four Seasons, because I don't have that right off the top of my head, but Larry can get it for you. I'll put you right on hold, and he'll do that for you, and they can help you get that taken care of. Lita is up next. Lita from Aurora, welcome. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for calling us.
Oh, you're welcome. I wanted to ask you about owner's manuals. If you lose the one that you got when you bought your car, and do you even get them with used cars?
You get them with new cars, and unless somebody has removed one from a used car, you should still, it should stay with the vehicle, but I've seen people take them out, lose them, misplace them. Now, what year of car are you driving, Lita?
Oh, I've never owned a car, but I have 7 of my children drive, and several of my grandchildren.
Okay.
I have a new, not a new grandchild, but a new driver.
Got it. Got it.
She got her license about 2 or 3 months ago, but and I don't know if she has an owner's manual or not.
Well, and the reason why I asked how new the car is in some cases you can download the manuals for free from the manufacturer's website, depending upon how old the vehicle is.
Right.
Can you buy manuals at
yes.
like at a Walmart? Or?
No, you'd have to go to the dealer to buy a manual.
Or eBay.
Or eBay. That's
yeah,
true too.
Exactly. Because I had one that was 10 years old. I got it for like $3.95 and $2 shipping.
Good point.
So,
it always makes you wonder where those guys get those from.
Well, I wanted to ask you too, is the maintenance the same for every car?
No, it is
Oh.
not. It varies
Every
manufacturer to manufacturer and model to model.
Yep. Exactly.
And even in some cases, engine in a particular model and or if a model is all-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive, all of that can make a difference even in the exact same car.
Yeah.
And does it change as the car gets older? Do you have to do maintenance and changing filters and so forth more often?
Filters, not so much, but
frequency, as your manufacturer's recommendations, your frequency stays the same as the car ages. But there are other things that can fail or
in some cases you're going to want to pay attention to certain areas of the car a little more as the car ages, fluids, things like that. It just depends. Again, that really has the make and model of the car and the year, of course, has a big bearing on everything we just said. So that's one of those things where you do need a good relationship with a good technician that can walk you through all of that, help you with the particular vehicle that you're driving. Because the other thing that comes into play, Lita, and everybody else listening out there, because you're not the only one, Lita, we're talking to, this is for everybody else listening.
Right.
You as a driver or whoever's driving the vehicle can have a big bearing on what gets done maintenance-wise on the vehicle also.
Right.
And a lot of that you can do yourself.
A lot of it you can do yourself. Some of it you need to have somebody else do unless you're really technically inclined and have the proper tools.
The equipment is really...
the equipment's getting to be a bigger deal. The other thing that happens, Lita, is also how is the vehicle used? In other words, some people use them for daily drivers. Some only use them on the weekends. Some are vehicles that are used inside of a business where they get a lot of miles. And every one of those has a little different bearing on what we do maintenance-wise.
Now, before I leave you, may I tell you what I told my youngest child?
Go right ahead.
She, when she got her driver's license, the little girl who is now 37 years old, I said, "Listen, hen, this is a magic car." And she said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yes. One speeding ticket and it disappears."
It's a magic car. I like that.
And if she ever got a speeding ticket, she made sure I didn't find out.
That's good, Lita.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
really
well,
good.
God bless you.
Hey,
and
God
thanks
bless you
for
too. Thank
taking
you.
my call.
Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate that, Lita, very much. That was a very enjoyable phone call. And again, folks, one of those calls where Lita was actually asking a lot of general questions that apply to everyone listening.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Why I spent a little more time with her is because everything she asked are things that other people out there are wondering exactly the same thing. So appreciate that, Lita. Line open, 303-477-5600. And as you could see from those last couple of phone calls, folks, whatever you've got, call us. We'll answer it. Again, John Rush, Ken Rackley, we're in studio, Drive Radio. John from Hygiene, you are up next. What's going on today?
Yeah, am I on?
You're on, John.
Thank you. I've got 2005 F-250 Ford Power Stroke, and when it's cold, when I start it, it starts okay, but it will just idle rough, and if I push the throttle down, nothing happens for up to 5 minutes, and then it kind of warms up and cleans up. I'm wondering what is causing that.
Most likely on an 05 Power Stroke, which is a 6-liter, and again, this is one of those vehicles somebody with diesel knowledge has to look at it, has to diagnose it to make sure that everything is, to make sure every system is working properly. It could be a FICM, which is basically the control module for the fuel injection. It could also be injectors. It could be a sensor. There's a number of things that could actually cause that. And for me to just tell you, hey, go put a FICM in it, which is the fuel injector control module, it probably is that. But for me to just tell you, go replace it, I would be wrong in doing so.
Okay, so it's not glow plugs at least.
I would not. If it's starting, I would not think so.
Right. Okay. So I have to have someone diagnose it then?
On a 6-liter Ford, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is one of those things. And just for those of you that own 6-liter Fords, do not read the forums. Do not go off of what somebody else is telling you. They have to be diagnosed because everyone is different and unique. Yes, there are a lot of known failures on 6-liters, but what I have found over the years after owning, half a dozen of them myself, every one of them is unique.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome, John. Yeah, and I wouldn't normally say that, Ken, because some things are a little more cut and dried, but 6-liter Fords,
they're
not.
They got a mind of their own, and every one of them, you might have the exact same symptom, but completely different problems.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
You said it very well, Ken. Thanks for putting the words in my mouth like we needed to. All right, Mark in Boulder, you're up next. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, I'm just thinking about buying a used truck. Don't want to spend a fortune on it because I drive a car.
Got it.
It's just something when you need a truck.
Sure.
So I'm looking in the 7,500 and less range, and you see a ton of trucks out there of 150 to 200 or more thousand miles.
Yes, that's the range.
And, I know it all depends on how they've been maintained, but should I bother to look at these? I mean, I'm looking at this Chevy 3/4 tons or GMC 3/4 tons with a 6-liter.
They're fine. Those are fine trucks. Nothing wrong with them.
Right.
Well, what is there any one particular thing I should be looking for in mileage?
No, when you're looking at trucks in that price range, it really, and you said it all yourself a moment ago, it all is going to come down to who owned it.
Yep.
How well was it maintained?
Yeah.
What kind of maintenance was done? Not only what kind of maintenance, what kind of repairs? Because at 7,500, it will have had some things done to it over the years because that's the price range that you're in.
And it's probably 200,000+ miles.
Or 150 plus anyways, at least.
Yeah,
I mean, let me say this.
Yeah.
If you can find a pretty decent truck for 7,500 with 150K, that's probably a pretty good buy.
Exactly. And you figure with the 6-liter, it's 2,000 or newer.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And
and I've owned several of those trucks over the years. Nothing wrong with that truck at all, Mark.
Transmission fluid condition, transfer case. There's a spot on the transfer case where the pump will actually wear through. So if you have any kind of leak if there's a leak of the transfer case, that could be a bigger issue. Sometimes they can be fixed externally, sometimes not. But that's really the only things I can think of. The
3/4 tons are pretty tough. I mean, that's the plus side to a 3/4 ton. They've got a little heavier transmission.
Yeah.
They've got heavier axles, front and rear. Drive shaft is heavier, U-joint's heavier, front axle shafts are heavier. Things. I mean, I can't really say, go look at this one individual thing because it depends on the truck.
Yeah. And looking at your fluid conditions, that's the first place I look. Mileage doesn't bother me. It's just how it's been taken care of.
And coming from somebody that's in that industry, one of the things that I would advise against, and I do sell, some of my old plow trucks from time to time, I typically sell them as a unit. But if you can make sure that a truck has not had a snow plow on it or has hauled a bunch of heavy loads, is there a big, gooseneck trailer hitch in the back of the bed, things like that. Those are things that indicate the truck probably had a little harder life. Now, not always. There's some guys out there that are very, myself included, where, you could buy my truck after plowing snow and it would be a really solid truck, but that's unique. Typically speaking, they're pretty beat.
Yeah. Yep.
Good to know. Well,
okay.
I appreciate it.
All right, Mark. And if there's anything else you need, by all means, send us an email and I'll help you out via email if need be.
Well, I'll have a pre-purchase inspection done.
Perfect. There you go.
Thanks.
All right, Mark. Appreciate the phone call very much. We got lines open. 303-477-5600. A couple lines open right now. Great phone calls this morning. And Larry could probably attest to this looking at me through the glass. I think those were all new callers this morning so far. So good job, guys. Thank you. Not that old callers are bad. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't take it that way. But listen, those of you that are, getting enough courage up, calling in, asking questions, that's what we're here for. That's what we want. And we want to help you with all of your car needs. So we'll be right back. We're not going anywhere. John Rush, Ken Rackley from TuneTech in Aurora, Larry Younger on the other side of glass, along with Matt Matulik, our great engineer. We'll be back right after this. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize
you're so sincere, John. Thank you.
What parts you need? Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Ken Rackley's also with me. Brian from Lakewood, if you're still listening, we did do a little more research on your RAV4, and that is a powered circuit. So it is not a grounded circuit. It is powered. And one thing Ken and I were talking about through the break that we wanted to just get out there real quick, for those of you that have, electrical issues, things like that you're looking for, just keep this in mind. Just because a fuse has power across it doesn't necessarily mean that it's making contact with those contacts that the fuse pushes into, especially if somebody at any point in time added a circuit for whatever reason. They added a set of lights or a radio or something along those lines. I've seen over the years, and I've seen this really, hurt a lot of technicians over the years, where the terminals in the fuse box itself can get spread. The powered side of the fuse works great because typically when you add a circuit on, you're doing it on the outside side of the fuse, if you want to say it that way. The side of the fuse where if something were to go wrong, it breaks it pops the fuse. What I'm trying to get at, it burns the fuse. And so I've seen where the terminals can actually spread enough to where the fuse will not make contact or periodically will make contact. And Ken's just showing me a really cool thing that Napa has now. If you want to add a circuit in to an existing fuse, very cool. Send me that link, Ken. That is something that, in fact, I tell you what we'll do, folks. Ken will send me that. I'll put that up on our Facebook page where some of you electrical guys can actually look at that, because that's a really cool thing, Ken.
Yeah, it's easy. You don't have to mess with anything.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I'll put that up on the web on the
really
Facebook
awesome.
page. All right, let's go to Randy, who's up next. One line open, 303-477-5600. Randy, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for being there.
You bet.
Questions pile up all week.
Yeah, it's okay. It's what we're here for.
Yep, it's nice. I have a question. Like on your what do you call it? The compressor on your air conditioning.
Yes.
It kind of runs in the winter and it keeps everything lubricated with defrost on and such. Well, kind of in the ballpark of what my question is, as far as the front differential running the 4x4 specifically. I've heard someone say an expression, and I want your take on it: use it or lose it. And I don't understand it.
Not anymore.
If you don't use something, I don't see how you break it.
In the old days, when vehicles had hubs and the front axles, were never engaged, a lot of times people that never used four-wheel drive, the fluid could get all, congealed, and, everything would just kind of get nasty. And sometimes they would even leak some water in there, and people didn't realize that it would do that. In today's world, in modern SUVs and four-wheel drive vehicles from probably, Ken,
let's add 99 in there.
Mid-80s up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We haven't had that issue since the mid-80s.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I don't use it all summer to go
Doesn't
wheeling or
matter.
whatever, and then we don't get a good snow and I don't use it, it's not
Nope.
it's not harming it at all.
Not a bit.
Right, exactly.
Not anymore. Whoever told you that's, again, an old timer that doesn't understand the modern vehicles.
Some of the,
well,
you know,
something I heard, and I just wondered.
Oh yeah, exactly. Some of the encoder motors and stuff like that, they might, you know, whether, I mean, not using them isn't going to make a difference. They're either going to work or they're not.
Exactly.
And so,
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how something would break if you don't.
They
use
won't.
it,
Not anymore.
but-
Those days are over.
Yeah. Something
Well,
like
anyway, I'm looking forward to the snow because I really want to get a chance to actually
Well,
use it.
I think your chance is coming, Randy.
Yeah. All right. You guys have a great day.
You too, Randy. Appreciate it very much. Enjoy your weekend. All right, Richard in Glendo, clear up in Wyoming. Richard, what's going on today?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for calling us.
Hey, great show, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I've got a 2008 Trailblazer, and I'm having a problem with the heating part of it, and it's got two sliders, you know, for the heating control in that vehicle,
Yes.
and the driver's side blows cold air, and passenger side blows hot air. What's the deal here?
This is right up Ken's alley.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, they've got the dual mode air condition or dual mode heating and climate control, which are awesome systems. But every once in a while, something will hang up and things along those lines. It's going to be plugging in a scanner, seeing what mode doors are working, what if we're getting the right signal from the heater controls, things like that. So it is going to take some diagnostic to figure out what's working and what's not.
So are those controlled by a computer too, then, or what?
Yes, they are electronic controlled motors on those.
Okay, because we was up at the grocery store here last week, and it was blowing cold air out of my side, and we went in the store and then came back out, and it started working like it should.
There you go.
Sometimes, and there can even be sensors and stuff too that aren't sensing properly, and shutting it off, resetting it in some cases makes it figure out what it's doing. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, your show's pretty addictive, man. I can't live without it on Saturday.
Well, thank you. That's what we want. Appreciate that, Richard.
Yeah, and I can't wait to go fishing.
Well, yeah, and that's not that far away either.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your weather like up there today, Richard?
It's snowing right now. I've got about 2 inches of snow on the ground.
Okay, because I think that's a storm coming down our way, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, stay safe, Richard.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Appreciate you calling in very much. Appreciate your loyalty also to us, listening every week. And I know there's a lot of you out there that do that. And yes, we're very, very thankful for those of you that listen. Even, I had somebody call in last week and say, I haven't called in for a really long time because I don't live in your area anymore. And I said, so we don't care. We're here to help.
Your car doesn't know that.
Exactly. We're here to help you. And chances are, I say this a lot, but chances are if you don't know the answer, somebody else out there has a similar question or even sometimes the exact question. So you calling in may actually help somebody else at the same time.
Exactly.
That phone call we just took from Richard, that's a great example.
Yeah.
You know how many Trailblazers are out running around with dual climate control?
Oh, yeah.
A bunch.
I've got one.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
No, my sister
So-
still owns. There's a bunch of them still out there.
Yeah.
So that's a question that I don't want to say it's universal, but it applies to a lot more people than just Richard.
You're right. Exactly.
So again,
and my problem isn't left to right. It's up and down. I can't get it on the feet, and I know what it is. It's
Got
just,
it.
Yeah, haven't gone that far to. It's up in north.
That's that old shoemaker's kids goes with no shoes.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's right.
It's exactly how it works.
It gets her there and back. She just wears extra socks.
There you go.
So-
I've been there, done that. I know exactly how that is.
Yep.
All right. Phone number 303-477-5600. In case you're just tuning in, this is Drive Radio. We're here every single Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We are rebroadcast on Sunday, our second 2 hours of the show. So hour number 2, hour number 3, they are rebroadcast on Sundays from noon to 2 p.m. right here on KLZ. So we've been doing this for, 20 years roughly, over that now. And we've really enjoyed it. We've learned a lot over the years, and hopefully we're doing things today a little better than we were 20 years ago, which I think we are. We've learned a lot over the years. But no, we have not bragging, but we have the most, the longest lasting, and I feel the most successful, car talk show in the Denver market, really in all of Colorado Front Range. And as you could just tell, we go all the way up into Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas. We've had callers even from New Mexico, we have a large reach, and there's a lot of you now that are listening to us over the internet, either through the phone app that's there, the TuneIn app, or right through the KLZ 560 website. So if you're doing that right now, we appreciate it. And our podcasts get listened to a ton also. So thank you very much. And you can find us at facebook.com/driveradio, drive-radio.com. That's our website. Or if you want to get a podcast, I put them up on Facebook, or you can go right to SoundCloud. It's soundcloud.com/drive-radio. And we changed our podcast service here a while back, stopped hosting them ourselves. We now have a service that does that because it's way cheaper and easier than us trying to do it ourselves. And they've got a lot more features that we didn't have before that's now built into that app. You can put it on your phone. A lot of cool things that SoundCloud offers. So at any rate, those are the ways you can reach us. And don't feel like you always have to wait for a Saturday to ask us a question. Go online, go right to drive-radio.com, click on the Contact Us, fill it out, we'll get that question, and typically within a few hours I will answer it. Most always within a day at most, I typically will get those answered. So if you've got any questions, even a follow-up question is something we talk about on air, feel free, send us an email and I'll get that answered for you. Even during the show, if you've got a question, you can do that one of two ways. Send us an email. Quickest way on Saturdays is John, John, at drive-radio.com. Or go to Facebook, again, facebook.com/drive-radio. Either one of those, you can send us a message. We'll get the question answered. And a lot of you do that during the show, and we appreciate that because some of you are busy. You don't want to get on the phone. You're stage fright, whatever. I get it. If there's something you want to ask, it's way more convenient to do it that way, then by all means, use those tools that we have to reach us, and we'll get your questions answered. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we haven't even talked about the winter weather that's coming in. So what's your worst winter weather driving story? In other words, what's the worst winter that you've ever driven in? The worst winter storm you've ever driven in your entire life. Call us. Tell us what that is. 303-477-5600. Ken Rackley, Tune Tech, John Rush. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all 4 wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560, 303-477-5600. That is our phone number. Give us a call, and we will get you right on air. And Ken and I were just talking about, he didn't even drive his four-wheel drive into the studio today because, really, if you've got the right car and the right tires, guess what?
Yeah,
you can still get around.
That's right. It's going to be an adventure either way. So, maybe.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I will tell you about the experience I had going home Monday night from the studio in a new Mazda 3, which actually worked surprisingly well. I will do that review as soon as we get done with Pete. He's in Nebraska. Pete, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, I've got an 89 one-ton Chevy pickup, four-wheel drive.
Okay.
And I'm having problems with the clutch master cylinder bleeding it out. I put a new slave and master on, and they're just, I've done it in the past. I can't remember what I exactly did, but to build up pressure, it's just a real pain in the butt.
We used to run into issues like that. One thing that helped, if you can, I'm pretty sure that's jacking up the back end of the vehicle, because the way that master cylinder sits on the firewall, it's at such an angle that it has a hard time pushing the air out. If you can jack up the back end of the vehicle just as high as you can get it, sometimes that helps. I remember.
I can get it to drip bleed. It'll drip bleed out the bleeder screw on the slave cylinder.
The only other way to do that is to power it, is to power bleed it from the top down.
Right. Or from the bottom up.
Or bottom up, either way.
Either way, but that's kind of a tool that
now, if you
not
was going to
everybody
do it from the bottom up, you just leave everything alone. Nothing's pressed down up top.
Right.
You just go from the bottom.
Yeah. And
push
just
it back to the top.
Yeah. You can use the vacuum pump,
Mighty Vac.
Mighty Vacs.
Yeah.
So you can reverse those and do that. Yeah. That's
they work good.
One way of doing it. Yeah. You have to get kind of, a little bit
creative.
Creative. Yeah.
And they're a booger. They've gotten better since then, but those are a booger.
Yeah.
And
They hardly hold any fluid.
That's right.
In that
That's
reservoir.
exactly right.
They're just a couple ounces, and if you lose anything, you lost it all real quick.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
You're right.
And getting back to the winter storm thing, a few years ago up here in Nebraska, I was driving home after my wife was ahead of me, and I was behind her, and birthday party day, the kids. Came home, got about a mile and a half from the house. It was like you put a white piece of paper in front of your face.
Oh boy!
That's all you could not see nothing.
Yeah.
I seen a telephone pole, and I knew I was close to the road. Didn't even know where I was at. I mean, that was like, you get caught in a long distance like that.
Oh yeah.
You better just stop and hope nobody runs into you, because you can see nothing. You know if a car was coming.
Yep.
Couldn't see the wife's headlight or tail lights, and they were about 25 feet away from me. Could not see nothing.
Those are what we call pucker moments.
Yeah. Get you wise. All right, guys. I appreciate your time.
All right. Appreciate it, Pete, very much.
Yeah.
They definitely are.
You get a glute workout. Yes. Without moving.
Whoa, what is going on?
Exactly.
I had one of those Monday night, actually. I was going to tell you the story here, before we brought on Pete.
Yeah.
New Mazda 3 I was test driving, which, by the way, the car works fantastic. Great value of a car. Mid-20s, lots of features on that car, plenty of room. And this was not a high-end model. Had regular seats, all that kind of stuff in it.
Sure.
Again, $25,000 price tag.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me take that back. For $25,000, it had leather seats even.
Oh, okay.
So really, really well-equipped car for $25,000.
Yeah.
What I meant to say is, it's not considered a luxury car. That's still a economy type car. So four-door Mazda 3, front-wheel drive, 6-speed. And I'm in that snow Monday night, and I get on 270, or I get on 70 to try to get onto 270 off of 225, and traffic is at a standstill. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching it snow and snow and snow, and before you know it, there's about an inch of snow on the ground around us, and then it just turns to ice.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a big pile up in front of us, so we're literally on ice. I'm looking at four-wheel drives around me that evidently had such bald tires they couldn't even hardly move and get going. I went all the way back to Boulder in that little Mazda 3, and I was in some spots just about like what Pete talked about a minute ago, where you couldn't hardly see because there were some whiteout conditions that night.
Yep.
That little Mazda, Not a problem. Didn't miss a lick.
That's great.
That car worked fantastic.
Yeah.
Would I buy a Mazda? Absolutely. That car just worked great. Great fuel economy, great workmanship. Mazda, they build a really, really good car for the money. And it's one of those that you really, if you're in the market for that type of a car, you really should take a second look because they really work pretty well. It's a good car for the money.
That's good.
But to your point, get the right tires.
Right. Yeah.
You know what?
Right tires.
You can just about drive anything you want to drive.
Ground clearance is the biggest issue, because I have some dirt roads that I have to go on, but most of my roads are main thoroughfares, and
in that case, just
that. Many years ago, 3 years ago, I had a vehicle that lost the transmission. It's a 4-wheel drive Explorer. And I keep thinking, well, for the wintertime, I should have that ready to go and stuff like that. Well, it's been sitting for 3 years. I just drive my car.
You've been driving Cobalt the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and it gets me there and back. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're up next. What's going on today? Welcome to Drive Radio.
Will you ask for harrowing experiences?
Yes.
And mine was, but it wasn't in snow. And I just want to talk about it because the intelligence of a driver is so important, and your I don't know, your native intelligence or something. I was in St. Lucia. I was in a truck, a small truck, with a driver who was doing fine, and it's a very hilly, and also those driving conditions there. People don't drive as well as we drive here. I'll say, and somebody was coming against us in the other lane, which was proper. But somebody else pulled out in front of us, but way further up. And he only had a choice. Well, the choice he chose was to go between the cars, forcing both of them off the road a little bit.
Oh boy.
But the point is, if they hadn't been willing, we could have been hit head on.
Wow.
But the point is, there was no place for him to go. And actually, it hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so I just mention it because it was the most harrowing experience I had in the car.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow. Yeah, those are.
But it's because he had such a natural. If we were to make it, he had to do that.
So he just zipped on through and off he went.
Yeah, right in the middle of them.
Wow.
Wow. It was so scary.
Wow. That's amazing. Good story, Mary.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it very much. Yeah, I think I've been that driver sometimes.
You're right.
Where you just think, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah. Well, and you see, you see things happen around you, and it's like, okay, I'm looking for the open spot, not just to accept my fate and run into who's in front of me.
Speaking of that, I was watching that night, the other night, driving that Mazda home. I'm coming up the Broomfield exit, and I'm watching. There's all that construction on 36, and I'm watching, and there's a car stuck, I don't know why, in the off-ramp right at the throat of the off-ramp. And a car went in the off-ramp at the same time. This other car didn't have its lights or anything on, so it was just like there.
Yeah.
And how the car that went through that little spot that was there, because it's really only about one car width wide right there.
Yeah. Inch on both sides. And
I have no idea. I was looking for mirrors flying or anything, and somehow or another, that guy zipped that thing. I don't know if it was a guy or a gal, but whoever was driving, that driver
made it.
Zipped that thing like a thread in a needle.
The needle, yep.
Unbelievable. It was just like Mary talking about it. And you know what? Didn't miss a lick. Didn't push on the brake. And I'm guessing if they would have hit the brake,
would have slid.
They probably would have slid and ran right into it. Exactly. So great stories. Again, what other winter driving stories do you have? 303-477-5600. Mike, what's going on with your S10?
Well, got a 95 S10 Blazer with a 4.3 V6 four-wheel drive. Truck has about 200,000 miles on it, and I'm having a hot or cold start problem. If it sets any longer than a half an hour, well, on a warm start, and if you go to start it cold, it'll crank, and it cranks. Takes about maybe 30 or 40 seconds for it to crank, and it eventually starts. But you smell gas really bad, and it puffs black smoke out the tailpipe. There's no lights on.
Yeah. 95 wouldn't pick that up.
No.
More than likely, you've got the fuel injector, the pressure regulator leaking down inside the
intake.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So when you start it, it's leaked all its pressure out, leaked fuel into the intake. So when you're starting it, it's flooded instantly.
And you need to get that fixed ASAP.
Yeah, because
I've seen engines get completely destroyed.
Yeah,
because that problem continues to get worse and worse.
So pull the intake off and
put a whole new. It's called a spider assembly, basically. Underneath the intake, it's an entire. It's an assembly. It comes with everything you need.
6 of the poppet injectors and the pressure rate and the.
It's all there. Napa sells them.
Yep, Napa sells them. And
but get that done like today.
And to verify that, just by the symptoms, that's what it sounds like. But when you pull the intake, there you should see puddled fuel.
Yeah, I already called that part's a little over $100.
Yep.
So, but I wasn't sure if that was the problem.
And who's that part through?
I don't know who my family called.
Make sure they're buying a high quality one, because there's a wide array of manufacturers for those. Buy the good, Denso or whatever one you need to buy for that. Yes.
Yeah, they're
Delphi.
Typically quite a bit
Denso,
more
Delphi,
than that, because they're
about $300 normally.
I was going to say they're up there because they have. There's a lot to.
You're buying 6 injectors essentially.
6 injectors and the main controller for those. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So
right on.
You make sure it's not some rebuilt
unit. That's something that with my 60s mechanical ability. That I could probably do.
Should be able to. They're not that difficult. It's just
parts and nuts and bolts and things like that have to come off to get those.
You should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my knowledge extends to small block and big block Chevys.
Well, if you've done a small block Chevy, that 4.3 is basically a small block Chevy with 2 cylinders off of it.
With 2 cylinders missing.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that.
And all the injection stuff and all the computer stuff.
You'll notice all that when you get underneath in the plenum area. You'll notice all that in the valley.
All righty. You guys, thanks for being there,
welcome.
And you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it very much. One line open, 303-477-5600. We got 2 more stories coming up about winter driving. Dell and Jim hang with us. One line open again, 303-477-5600. Ken Rackley from TuneTech. John Rush, your host. We'll be right back here on Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing the highest level of service possible to our customers. Our highly trained technicians are ASE certified and are dedicated to providing you with world-class service. We have years of experience working on both domestic and import vehicles of all makes and models, and will work with you to find cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, along with Ken Rackley, KLZ 560. Let's go to a couple of stories real quick. Dell, I think you're first. What's your story?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing good, Dell.
My pucker moment was years ago when I was repossessing cars. I repoed a one-ton Chevy pickup up in Buena Vista.
Okay.
And it had a 6-inch, had a lift kit on it, and it had a 6-inch diameter rear bumper. So by the time I got it picked up on the truck, why, my front wheels and steering was non-existent. And I hit a whiteout storm coming out of Fairplay where all you could see was little poles on the side of the road from there to
little
the
snow poles. Wow. So, did you make it home okay, I assume?
Yeah, I made it home. It took a while, but yeah, it was one of them turning white knuckle moments.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, those are no fun.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to do it, you know.
Yeah, you just take it easy and
that's right. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'm one that one piece of advice I have for a lot of people too is, if you don't feel like you can proceed, you need to get off the road completely, because pulling over on the shoulder is one of the most dangerous things you could ever do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had some interesting times.
Wow. Good story, Dale.
Talk to you later.
You bet. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Jim. Jim, what's your story?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a blizzard in Denver. I think it was 1984.
Yes.
It was terrible.
Thanksgiving
anyway,
time.
I had a girlfriend out in Lakewood, and I lived near University Hills, and I had just bought a brand new Subaru sedan, brand new. And she insisted that I go pick her up, and even the highway was like a Jeep trail. So I was swearing at that poor girl all the way back because it was beating up my brand new Subaru. I don't know if you guys remember those. They had the dials on the console that kind of looked like a women's chest. Remember that thing?
I don't.
Kind of thing that stick out on either side. It was just bizarre looking.
I remember those.
Side.
Yes, I do.
But that thing was indestructible. Front-wheel drive, 4-door, electric blue.
Yeah, those things, they'd go bad anywhere.
Yeah, but I took it out of my poor girlfriend, so I still feel bad about that. You know how it is with a brand new car, you want to baby it, and there it was.
That's
getting
right.
torn up. That's my story. Thanks a lot.
Good job, Jim. Thanks so much for the phone call. All right, let's go to Ron in Thornton. Ron, what's going on today?
Hey, good morning, John and Ken.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm not a first-time caller, but I'm still nervous.
That's okay. You're fine. What's going on? Don't be nervous. It's just us.
Right. Hey, I just received a recall notice on my 05 Ram 1500.
Okay.
And it says the rear axle pinion nut on your truck may have been built without an adhesive patch on the pinion threads.
Yep.
And it basically says, you get you'll lose power and you might get in an accident.
Yeah, it can lock up on you. Although I don't know that I've ever seen one.
Symptoms.
Yeah.
It just loosen up. Is that what happens?
Typically, you would notice it. Have you had any issues at all with noise from the differential, anything like that?
No, I haven't. Yeah. My first question about it was, do I have to use the dealership?
Yes.
Or do I take it to Larry?
Well, the way they do recalls, if you lived out in the middle of Timbuktu, where there were no dealers around, and it was way too far for you to go and get it done, they would reimburse somebody there locally to do that job for you. But in your case, with you being local and there's dealers all around, yes, you need to go to the dealer.
Okay, and then the next question, well, I think you already answered. You said I could not have any noise or anything. I was just wondering how dangerous is that? Because also in the same letter, they go, well, we don't have the parts, so you're kind of out of luck.
With just between you and I and Ken, with the amount of road salt and chemicals we use here in Colorado, knowing where that nut is located, I think there's probably pretty good rust adhesive in there at the moment anyway, so I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. You do need to get it done, but I wouldn't worry about it. Okay,
they said they would send me another notice when the parts.
That's fine. Just wait for it. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah.
And then I have a comment on one of your pet peeves that you've talked to before about, tires, people driving around with bad tires. And I guess they're trying to pass or already passed.
They are trying to. In fact, you're segueing perfect. It was a topic I actually had for today, so you're not stealing any thunder. Go ahead and explain it. They are getting ready, or they're going to propose legislation for some tickets on I-70 if you don't have proper tires.
Right. If your tires are bad or if you don't have chains, and I think the fine was like $300.
Well, let me look here. I think, I have not seen the actual piece of legislation because I don't believe that it's actually been introduced yet. It's a proposed bill right now, and it would be $100 fine.
Oh, 100. Okay, I got a little confused there.
$100.
But still, that's that could add up. If you don't get...
Cost of one tire.
Yeah, it could add up. And the question, and I probably will cover this, during the week more so than on Saturday, because this kind of gets into some of the political ends of things, which is, is that really the proper role of government to tell you, whether or not you should have tires or not? I'm one that would say driving is a privilege. And in that particular case, if they want to put a law in place to make sure that you've got the right tires to actually drive because driving is a privilege, there's no constitutional right that says you have a right to drive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm not typically one to add a bunch of new laws, but I will tell you this, individually speaking, I get really sick and tired of being around people that have bad tires that can't get out of my way.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. And just one little quick story. And I was in that blizzard that last guy was talking about, 84. It was Christmas Eve.
That was 82. 82.
82. Oh,
82 was Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yep.
Thanking was 84.
Yeah, Christmas Eve was 82.
You're right.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm driving back from Boulder trying to get home for Christmas. And I'm in the left lane on the Boulder Turnpike, and I hit some drifts. And it just blows up on the windshield. I can't see nothing. So I just held it steady and, and just said, hopefully I get through it. And then once it cleared up, I looked to the right and there was a guy passing me.
Oh, my word. Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I had a guy today, which I was just surprised at, and it was a guy because I looked over and I could see him. I'm going down 36 around the Federal area there, which, speed limit's 55. I know everybody drives about 80, but, it's 55, and I'm driving about, 60, 62, something like that, which is fine for a day like today. It's more than adequate enough speed. I know it's over the limit, but if you drive any less than that, you get flat run over, so I didn't want to be a road hazard either. And I'm not joking. I had a guy that zipped around me in the HOV lane that must have been doing about 90, and I'm not exaggerating, on a day like today.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you knucklehead.
Yeah. Are you in that big of a hurry? I mean,
if you are, you're probably not going to make it where you're going anyways, the way you're driving.
Yeah. Is any difference?
Anyways.
And then to finish the story, though, real quick, so I thought I made it back to Washington, and I don't know. But anyway, so I had to walk the rest of the way. And I'm walking down the middle of Washington Street because there's nobody going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see anything. I just stayed on that main drag till I got home. And,
wow. That was
going nowhere.
That was the snowstorm, and also old timers can remember this. That was the snowstorm where I think McNichols finally kind of his end of running as mayor, because all he could do is make trash trucks run around the city streets to try to pack the snow down. It was a major disaster, and after that, he was gone.
Yep.
Well, the good news, I made it home for Christmas.
Good job.
That's good.
Good job, Ron.
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Great story. Yeah, and you always wonder why, and I realize that typically side streets don't get pushed, and I understand why and all of that,
Sure.
but sometimes you wonder,
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was a lot of
Sometimes you wonder why not.
There was a lot of digging that year, and there was, it's yeah, I know.
So back to this proposed bill. I will mention it real quick. I'll probably talk about it again for our Sunday listeners in the next hour. Drivers caught with inadequate snow tires, or without, let me rephrase that, without inadequate. So drivers caught with inadequate tires along Interstate I-70 corridor may soon be penalized. Numerous accidents and delays are caused by inadequate winter weather equipment, according to Colorado Department of Transportation. Democratic State Representative Diane Mitch Bush proposed the bipartisan bill that would make it mandatory for drivers to have adequate tires for winter travel or carry snow chains between November 1st and May 15th along the I-70 corridor. The only thing I'm going to add to that I'm saying is we already have if an officer wants to pull you over right now because you have inadequate tires right now, they don't meet specifications for the safety specs, they can pull you over and write a ticket right now. So I don't know why we need another bill to enforce something that pretty much already exists.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
I mean, they can already pull you over and give you a defective vehicle ticket as is. So again, this is one I'll probably talk about during the week. Might even hit it on Monday. If you're interested in that, tune in Monday at 3 to 6 p.m. and Rush to Reason during the week. We may actually hit that one because I think that's a pretty good topic, actually, that Larry got me on this morning as soon as he got here. So, all right, guys, lines are open. give us a call. 303-477-5600. Had a fantastic first hour. We're going to come back for another couple of hours. We're not going anywhere. The winter weather so far is holding off nicely. So those of us that are in the studio, we got 2 more hours to go. Matt's got another one on top of that, but we have 2 more hours, Larry, Ken, and I, and hopefully we'll be fine getting home at that point in time. But if you're out running around, whatever you're doing, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you. Anything you want to talk about. Again, I said earlier, oil, maintenance, repairs. We just answered a recall question, which a lot of you are getting recalls these days on all sorts of different vehicles. We're kind of at a recall high, if you would. Part of that's because we're building more cars again.
Well, and I've got 2 notices in the past year on different vehicles that I have. And most of them are those 2. Of course, I got the Cobalt recall, but I then had that one done. But I got 2 other notices saying, okay, this is an issue, but if you're not seeing, or if you're not having this problem, you don't need to bring it in.
Got it.
It's just more of an,
it's an alert kind of a thing.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
And I just got one of those on my truck and the tranny cooler line.
All right, don't forget our sponsors. Isaac Bouchard, our broker. If you need a new car, used car, anything along those lines, 303-475-1462. Once you get that and you need it insured. Paul Leuenberger, American National Insurance, 303-619-9891. And in this winter weather that we have coming, I already had some. If you need tires, Quick Trade will come right to your facility, your office, your home, however you want to do it, and do your tires right then and there. Call Ken and Mike, 720-588-9055. Guys, give us a call. We'll get you lined up for the next hour. We've got 2 more hours coming up. Anything you want to talk about. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
It's not the perfume that you wear. There's all the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming in, wasting all my time. I'm not hanging out. I'm talking in your sleep. Doesn't matter where you've been.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. We offer a variety of hunting and fishing experts, outfitters, guns and ammo, and archery specialists. We'll also keep you informed of techniques, products, gear, and conservation news. That's Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m., right here on KLZ 560.
This is Kim Evans with Lawford Solutions. Join me and Scott Watley every Saturday from 4 to 4:30 p.m. for information pertaining to seniors and their families on Seniors on the Move Radio, KLZ 560.
John Rush here on the next Rush to Reason, texting. Do you know what the following texts mean? WSN, GNOC, NIFOC, or PIR. If you want to know the meaning of these texts, tune in Monday. We want you to be a part of our show, so of course we'll take your calls. That's Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver.
Listen live at KLZ560radio.com.
KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Dave Perkins.
It's not a class of civilization.
Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas on what the president has to say at his anti-violent extremism summit.
The president seems so concerned to prove the West is not waging war on Islam, but he won't recognize the fact that radical Islamists are waging war on the West and the United States as the leader of the West.
Cotton appearing on The Lead with Jake Tapper on CNN.
That's why this summit that he just called over the last 3 days, I think, shows that he's not yet taking the threat seriously.
Obamacare fails again. The Blaze Radio's Kay Long.
Those using Obamacare asked to wait to file their taxes because about 800,000 people sent incorrect tax information. And about 50,000 Obamacare customers already done with taxes may have to resubmit.
But no worries, the White House promising corrected Form 1095As before April 15th. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to the Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560. Freedom 560 with Ken Clark, now at a new time, 1 to 3 p.m. on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is
in rushed reason.
All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600.
I got it.
Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
And this is Drive Radio. John Rush, your host, along with Ken Rackley from TuneTech, hour number 2. If it's Sunday, don't call us. And these guys on the weekends always tell me that we get a lot of phone calls on Sunday afternoons. And, you know, I appreciate all of you that listen on Sundays. Thank you so much. But we're not here to answer your calls. Right. So if you're listening on Sunday, full disclosure, I should say, we're not here. We've already done the show the day before on Saturday, but you're very welcome to send us an email, john@drive-radio.com, or just go to our website, drive-radio.com. And, you know, if it's something that, you know, I can answer right off the bat, I will. If I need help from one of our technicians, you know, somebody that's close to you, sometimes Ken, I'll get involved. It just depends on the situation. I will do that. We'll still get your question taken care of. So if it is Sunday, we'll still take questions. We just don't do it on air.
You're right.
Works out fine. And Ken and I both are out looking out the window high atop the KLZ towers down here. And so far, so good. So we're hoping this storm holds off another about 2.5 hours so we can all get home. And then after that, you know what? It can snow, and I'll be out pushing it a little bit later. So we'll just see how all that works out today. But we got lines open, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. Jerry is up first for this hour. Jerry, welcome.
Hi. I'm hoping to buy a pickup from a friend of mine.
Okay.
And my friend is just an absolute paragon of virtue, decency, integrity, and honor.
Okay.
He would never, ever think about overcharging anyone. As a matter of fact, in the past, he's been known to insist on paying people more than their asking price because he wouldn't feel right otherwise. So
that's a good friend, by the way.
A dear friend. And I'm afraid that he might undercharge me. So I want to make sure that I pay him a fair price for this truck.
So what is it?
It's an 02 Ford Ranger, 4-wheel drive, club cab, automatic V6 with 43,000 miles in great shape.
And what's he asking you for it?
Well, we haven't even gotten to that
Haven't
yet.
got to that point yet?
Yeah.
Well, and it's tough because even the blue books and stuff that you look on that truck are going to be off because of the low miles, and it sounds like he's probably a pretty particular guy, so I'm guessing the truck's been pretty well cared for.
Mm-hmm.
And typically guys like that are that way with their cars. I just know that. I mean, everything you're describing, I know a lot of those guys. That's great. Which means whatever you look up from, Kelly Blue Book or anything along those lines, it's probably not going to be super accurate. What I will tell you is just, and Ken can attest to this and see if I'm right or not, but that truck is probably worth, in that condition, probably $6,000 to $8,000, somewhere in that neck of the woods. I mean, if you put the thing on Craigslist, it would probably bring $7,000 real easy, probably in a day or two, just because of what it is, and it's clean, and it's a truck that people are still looking for. Is it worth more than that? Probably not. And that price I just talked about is going to be higher than what the book says. Because what's the book say, Ken?
Edmunds is showing, and these are all over 100,000. One, 6,000 to 9,000.
Okay, so I'm probably not too far off in there.
Right, exactly. And those are all over 100,000 miles. So, and some of them even.
What color is it? Because that also has a bearing on it.
White.
Yeah, it makes it worth a little more too, because it's a real easy color for other people to buy, use, and so on. So it'd be worth more for me also.
Yeah.
Any fancy upgrades or anything? Is an XL, XLT?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because if it's an XLT, it might be a little more than that. You might want to get up into the $8,000 range or so. If it's an XLT, with what that'll have is power windows, locks, cruise control, air conditioning, all the goodies in it. Higher end, interior and so on.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Is there any special maintenance for those that you know of that I need to look into?
Is it? And it's the. I'm assuming. Depends on which engine's in it. Is it the 4-liter V6 or do you know?
It's a V6.
Because it could be the 3-liter or the 4-liter.
Right. Depends on the engine.
I think it's the larger.
The 4-liter is a more desirable engine, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Those had some air conditioning issues. Heater cores were another things you had to kind of watch for on that particular vehicle. The rest of it, I mean, at 43,000, if he's done maintenance to it, like I'm assuming he has, I don't think I'd really worry about too much of anything.
You're right.
That's a good truck to buy.
Yeah, that's.
I'd love to have a truck like that personally, just as a
get around
side vehicle. Yeah, I mean those are really hard to find, and that's a great truck. Really fits the bill well.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be a good buy for you.
Well, thank you very much. Can I chime in on the winter?
You
driving?
sure may, of course, Jerry.
A couple of instances I ran into many years ago. I was going eastbound on I-70, approaching the Eisenhower Tunnel, that long climb there, and right at the foot of the hill, I just saw a bunch of flashing lights up ahead, and what it turned out to be was all 3 lanes were blocked by side-by-side semis who had encountered this intense, sudden, localized icing, and they all lost traction side by side at the same point on the highway.
Boy.
And I was just barely able to squeeze by him on the right side shoulder, and then I was almost completely alone all the way to Denver because everybody else was blocked up behind there. But then some years later, I can't remember what year, but there was a heck of a blizzard up here, and I was trying to get on I-70 from Harmony and in Fort Collins, and I couldn't because the on-ramp was blocked by a semi, and there was a wrecker trying to rescue the semi. It was one of those big, it had double rear axles, for towing a semi, and all of the drive wheels on the wrecker were spinning. He couldn't get any traction at all.
Really?
Yeah, so I gave up, and I tried to get home to Greeley by the county roads and ended up spending the night in my Suburban in a snowdrift.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not fun. Well, thank you very much,
Not
gentlemen.
fun. Hey, no, appreciate it very much, Jerry. Thanks, and enjoy that truck. Let us know how it all works out.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like an awesome truck.
Yeah, it really does. Sounds like that'd be a blast.
And those were dealer, those were ads from dealers that were showing those prices.
Got it. So he'll be fine in that price.
Yeah.
All right, so we did have a correction. Listener sent in. Appreciate you guys doing this, by the way. I was wrong on the trash trucks in McNichols' era. It was actually Federico Pena that had the trash truck disaster that ran around one of those big snowstorms
and then he gets appointed. Whatever.
Yeah, we're not going there. Different show, different day. But yeah, that was Federico Pena. You know, what that Christmas of '82 was a huge snowstorm. I don't remember what year the bad one was with Pena. I'd have to go back and look. I mean, you know, we've had bad ones. You know, all through the years.
Everybody gets them. I mean,
yeah.
You know, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
I mean, you know, 06 was a really bad year. Of course, that 82 was a bad one. We had a bad one in 03.
Yeah.
There was some in the 90s. I mean, you know, we get them, folks. They come.
It snows here.
That's
you
right.
know, you just deal with it.
We live right at the foot of the Rockies.
Yeah, exactly.
We have snow. So, exactly. All right, 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on air. But, yeah, no, thank you guys so much for the corrections and keeping us on track. It's hard to sometimes remember all those little tidbits, but you know, I couldn't. I thought it was McNichols with the trash trucks, but you know what? When you get old, things just kind of start to. Larry's laughing at me because he knows what I mean. Things kind of start to run together. But at any rate, let's go to Ron in Pinewood Springs. Ron, welcome.
Hi. Hey, I got a question about headlights. I have a '99 GMC. It doesn't even have a headlight switch. You don't get the option to turn the headlights on or off. And I have occasion to need.
It's not on the upper left hand of the dash.
No, you can't. You can't turn the lights on and off. And
you mean are you talking your daytime running lamps are on all the time?
I mean just in general. It's my question is if I have occasion to need to run dark, and can you modify? Not specific to that vehicle, but any of these modern vehicles where you can turn it off and run dark.
If you start that vehicle with the parking brake on, or you know, just the red light lit up, if you start that vehicle with the parking brake on, those lights will not come on. So as soon as you release it, then the lights will automatically come on.
Right. Well, the question is to run dark.
But you could go one click and not hurt anything on the e-brake and do what Ken's talking about without having to modify anything.
Yeah.
Oh, so you'd have no taillights or anything?
Right. Yeah, I believe that makes it.
I think that makes it totally dark. I believe.
Exactly.
You test that.
Yeah.
You know, that's an older vehicle, so test us. I mean, we don't.
I know 2000 and newer was that.
Don't hop in a 99 every day. So now I probably have one of those in my yard. I could actually go verify that. But you have the same truck, so go test it and try it.
But yeah, I do know that will shut everything. Pretty sure everything down until you release it. So.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What about the newer vehicles?
Newer ones usually have the option where you can shut them off.
Depends on the vehicle, and there's differences in how you do that. And some of them over the years, you know, daytime running lamps, especially in some cases, I had to actually go in and make some electrical modifications to turn daylight running lights off, where, you know, people just didn't want them running all day long. But you know, typically when it comes to electrical, there's a way. You know, if there's a will, there's a way always.
Yeah.
Just a matter of having, you know, finding somebody sharp enough to do what you want done.
Yeah.
Great. All right. I didn't know that about the e-brake.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Appreciate the phone call. Let's take a quick break. Terrence just walked in. Terrence, how are you, man? Good to see you. All right. So here we go. Ken Rackley, John Rush, Terrence, and Matt, now engineers. We got two engineers here today, and Larry Younger on the other side of the glass. One line open, 303-477-5600. Tim, you've got a misfire in your Tahoe, and we've got one more call on an air pump. And my contacts aren't working very well. Serena. So, Serena, you guys both hang on. We will be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability.
I'm going to need you to play that off your computer.
Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years.
Hey, John.
Probably because
I need you to play that off.
Make the great parts we sell even better.
I'm not sure.
The quality you'll find in every one of our 300.
Is there any way you can send it to me?
Our cabin air filters to the Pensioners to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto
I tried to move it to get it, but I'm not sure. I'll go get Charlie.
Auto Parts store. But at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple. And it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, Ken Rackley. KLZ 560. I do have a little clip I want to play here in just a moment, again, about a particular product that I think some of you will find interesting. But before we do that, we'll get a few calls answered. Some of you have been holding for a little bit here. So, Tim, welcome to Drive Radio.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Just wonderful.
Great. Any snow up in Longmont yet?
It's just starting to spit. It's not really doing much, but you know, we're expecting to get a hit this afternoon.
Yep,
so.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out what our drive home's like. So you're a good indication because you're further north. So appreciate that.
Yep, roads are just wet right now.
All right,
so
thanks,
not even
Tim.
clicking up yet.
Perfect.
So I've got the 99 Tahoe. I've got about 215,000 miles on it, and I've replaced the plugs, wires, cap, rotor, all that with AC Delco parts.
Okay.
And I went with double platinums on the plugs, and I still get within 30 miles, I get an immediate fouling of number 6.
Is it fouling with oil or fuel?
It's fuel.
Okay, so it's fuel fouling on number 6.
Correct.
Which, in my first guess, would be you've got an injector issue in that cylinder.
Okay, where my next point of reference was going to.
Okay.
So I wanted to touch base with you guys.
If it's got good idle, everything's working well until it actually becomes fouled because of the fuel. Yes, I would say you've got too much fuel going in that particular cylinder.
Right.
Okay.
And I would not do one if it were me.
Yeah,
I would
plan
do
on
8.
doing the entire spider.
Yeah.
The entire spider system. Secondary question on that. The body and everything's in really good condition. I'm thinking about either buying my 16-year-old a newer car or dropping a new engine tranny into that one. What would you recommend?
Well, I mean, the one you've got. First of all, when's your teenager going to start driving? How soon?
It'll be in June.
Okay, he'll start driving in June. You've got another 100K of life pretty easily left in your Tahoe, engine-wise, and so on. I don't know that I would do anything but just stick him in it.
Yeah,
okay.
Drive
so
it.
I should get that. Take care of that spider.
Yeah, take care of that. And that's a great first car, by the way, and stick him in it, and off you go.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for your guys' help.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it. And sorry about the ding there. I just had to plug in some stuff for the clip I'm going to play in a minute and forgot to mute my laptop in the meantime. So I apologize. That was on me. All right, let's go to... And I muted that. Why is it still on?
Larry told me on the one caller with the headlights that he couldn't get shut off. Larry was saying that he had another.
Right here, Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin's coming up.
Okay.
Kevin, give us another suggestion on that Tahoe. Hello, Kevin. Are you there?
Yeah, I wasn't on the Tahoe, but on the GM headlights.
Yes,
on the,
that's what. That's what I meant. Yeah, on the 99 pickup. Yeah, go ahead.
Thereabouts. If you take the dome override switch and punch it about 4 times in rapid succession, it will turn them off.
I'll be darned. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
It doesn't work in all the GMs because I've got some others. They don't necessarily have dome override switches, but
Got it.
on those that do have it in the little switch panel on the left corner of the dash, it will shut them off.
Got it.
It'll do by
Okay, great.
99.
I didn't know that
Does it
either.
with the 2001 Suburban.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Great.
you got to punch them within a couple of seconds. I mean, you just
Real
sit there and
fast.
just cycle it about 3 or 4 times, and then they'll go out.
Huh. Well, that's
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good to know.
When it's running, and then of course after that you have to then shut it off and start it again to get them to come back that way, or you just manually turn the switch on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether you're still looking at storm horror stories.
Yes, go ahead. No, we always are.
82 Christmas blizzard. Had a family trash business, and we were out in it all day. I got out of the house and found a lady about 6 blocks up the street who'd slid across the road and into the ditch, and took her home, and then got down to trucks, and we went out and fought the snow all day until we got the trucks full. And as the day progressed, it just got harder and harder to get anywhere because you couldn't see where the roads were anymore, and the parking blocks were parking lots and the driveways. And of course, as the day progressed, you had more and more stuck abandoned vehicles and stuck buses and various crap. It was just a miserable time.
Oh, yeah.
Right after that, we went, following Monday, we went out and bought triple rail chains for all the trucks, and we broke trail through a good portion of Lower Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were the only thing through, and of course, most of our customers never realized it because the first trash bin that got emptied, everybody piled out all the apartments and promptly filled it back up.
Right.
Didn't matter whose trash bin it was the first empty one, and everybody wanted the trash out of the house.
Really? That's funny.
It was miserable, but we did it.
That's funny. That's good. Good story. Appreciate it, Kevin. Have a great afternoon, and hopefully the snow will hold off here another couple of hours. All right, let's go to Serena. I think you're next. Serena, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hi, John and Ken.
Hi.
Thanks for calling us, Serena.
I have a suggestion as to how pathetic Lakewood is, with no air pumps at any gas station, and or you have to pay. You have to have conveniently have 4 little quarters with you.
Yes, nobody has
Like
air
it's
at the
worth
stations
$1.
anymore.
Right.
Like it's worth $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a good idea if some young man decided to make an air pump store?
Well, what I will tell you is all you need to do in Lakewood is run by Four Seasons, and they'll do it for you for free. Just roll on in, and Ray will check it out for you.
Okay, well, I just am
That's
so
easy.
frustrated. Why did they do?
No, because when the service stations went away, there was no more equipment to even run the airlines and stuff with, and so that was I guess that was their way of trying to help people at least keep some air in the tire, was to put those cheesy air pump things in, and they are really cheesy.
There's only one in all of Lakewood.
Yeah, they're really cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just run
So
by.
some-
If you're in Lakewood,
some
run
in-
by Four Seasons, and Ray will help you out.
Some enterprising young man could start a special air store.
Selling air.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. All right.
And I have a little story. I was working at a ranch called King Mountain Ranch in 1983 in the mountains.
Okay.
And I was going over Earthed Pass, where they have no guardrails.
Yes. Yes, I know that very well.
And it turned into a blizzard, and I couldn't see out my windshield, and I had to stop and get out and scrape the ice off my windshield. And along comes a yellow Jeep and races by and throws the snow in my face.
Oh boy.
That's how considerate people are in this state.
Yeah, sometimes they're not very.
Yep. Yep. I know it.
That's a fact.
So all I can say is I hope that you two are gentlemen, persons of God.
Very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
Take care.
Sarah.
And yes, I am a typically a very considerate driver, especially when it comes to stuff like that. I watch very closely I've been one of those people on the side of the road way too many times where somebody comes along and you get the splash up and all of that, and yeah, that's no fun. So yeah,
Right.
that's just kind of mean when you do those things. All right, I think right now we've got time. Let me play this little clip. I did an interview on a particular item that I think would become really handy for folks in the just everybody. It's a device. It's actually a cell phone, but it's an emergency type cell phone, and I'll explain it here as we play this clip. I think this is actually worth listening to. So let me get all my devices turned back on, and here we go, Matt. Let's try this. All right, we have a special guest, real quick, Jeff, and I don't know your last name. I apologize.
That's all right, John. Jeff Fishman.
Jeff, appreciate you calling in. You've got a device, and we've got a big storm coming into Colorado. It's kind of what reminded me of your product, and I've looked at it before. I've actually featured it on my Facebook page in the past. I've got a actual automotive radio show I do on Saturdays also called Drive Radio that we do on the same station tomorrow. But you've got a phone that's it's kind of an interesting, it's an interesting piece of equipment that really probably everybody should have in the glove box of the car. Would you not agree?
I absolutely agree. Thank you for saying that.
So tell us about it.
No problem. So this is the Spare One emergency phone, and it's a very unique product. It is a basic cellular phone that works on the old standby 2G networks still found around the world. And what makes it really unique is it's powered by a single AA battery. And it's the only phone of its kind in the world that's operated by a AA battery, a very tricky situation to power a mobile phone because of all the spikes inherent in cellular networks. So what this AA battery operated phone allows is for somebody to grab it and put it in an emergency kit in the utility closet at home, in their glove box, in the car, as you mentioned, and just not worry about it until they need it. The battery that we include is a very powerful lithium battery from Energizer that actually is certified to last for 15 to 20 years without losing any charge, which means you can pretty much forget about this thing until you happen to need it.
Wow.
Or we have a lot of other customers who have used this as a starter phone for their child because there's no data connection, there's no camera, no games. It's simply an emergency phone that they can reach mom and dad or press our emergency alert button and speed dial 911 emergency services.
So is it when if they were to pick up the phone and dial, say, mom, dad, or relative, how does the charges for all that work? Do you have to be hooked up to a particular network? How do you get billed? How does all that work?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. So we actually are selling this without a SIM card, which means that this phone out of the box, actually we package it in a waterproof pouch because it's an emergency product. But out of the package, this phone will call 911 emergency services just fine if you turn it on. If you want to make regular phone calls, you'll have to go down to the cell phone shop or Radio Shack or 7-Eleven and pick up a GSM SIM card. And whatever card you want to purchase with an associated rate plan, as long as it's GSM, will work just fine in this phone.
Got it. But really, the idea is to buy this thing, keep it in its waterproof package, throw it in the spare tire area of your car, or the glove box, or the console, or what have you, or go put it at home in your emergency kit, have it ready to go. So if you ever need an emergency service right away, you don't have to worry about fumbling around for a cell phone that may be dead, or maybe it got wet or something happened, it got run over, what have you. This would always be there ready to go.
That's exactly right. And another thing that our customers do is they'll take the SIM card out of their dead smartphone and stick it into our Spare One and have a working phone. And if that power is out and you can't recharge your phone, your normal phone, I'm sure you could scare up some AA batteries from a remote control in your house and be able to keep making calls and receiving calls to your loved ones. Another thing, John, that's important to note is we did build in some emergency distress features. This has a panic siren, so you can press and hold our volume key for 10 seconds and it will start wailing a panic siren for you. It also has a flashlight built into it, an LED flashlight, and if you press and hold that button for 10 seconds, it will actually do the SOS Morse code signal as well. So there's a couple emergency distress features that can help somebody out if they're in an emergency situation.
Very cool. Very cool. So you can go to spareone.com, order it there. Is it available anywhere else besides your website?
Amazon.com and SpareOne.com, and there's a few other online sellers that have the Spare One assorted. So you can do an internet search or just come direct to us. We've got a nice special going. If you buy more than one, we'll give you a nice little discount on it when you check out.
That's awesome. Jeff, I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the short notice for coming on, but I felt like this was something we ought to let people know about, especially with the awareness that we'll have through the weekend. So thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, we do as well. Thank you very much, John.
You're very welcome. So that is Jeff from SpareOne.com, and it's the Spare One emergency phone, and that's not a commercial, but I just felt like that's something you ought to throw in the trunk of your car. All right. And again, I do feel like that's something you ought to throw in the trunk of your car. They're going to actually send us a couple to test out. So when I get one, I'll give you a little firsthand, thought of how things work and so on. We've mentioned them before on the show. This is not a fly-by-night company. They've been around for a while. And I think it's just one of those things you should stick in, again, the trunk of your car, have it ready to go. You never know when your phone will be inoperable, or you've left it behind, or you name it, whatever happened, you just, you don't know. And all of a sudden you're in a pickle and you need something to, to communicate with.
Sure.
This, if you just threw it in the, again, 15-year shelf life, throw that thing in the, glove box, someplace like that. I think I'll get, exacts on this in a minute, but I think they're around $50 is all.
Oh, okay.
So not a huge investment, and comes with the flashlight built in, which is number one on my item of things that you should have. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Jerry, hang with us. You've got a story. I want to hear that, so please stay with us. We got a line open. Let us know your winter driving story or any car questions you've got. Of course, we'll take those. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than, if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right, John Rush, Ken Rackley. We're just talking through the break about some things. We always have a good time. Yeah. Hope you guys do too, listening. I know I do. Every time I come down, it's an enjoyable experience. I really enjoy it. And I learn something new every day. And Ken even gave me a little tip earlier on a fuse tap product that I'll get that up on our Facebook page sometimes this weekend for some of you do-it-yourselfers. So never a weekend I do this show that I don't learn something.
Exactly.
Either from, and especially hitting the dome light on-off switch on a GM,
right,
rapidly to turn the lights off.
Yeah.
Again, folks, I didn't know this stuff existed. So
yeah, I mean, I've had all those vehicles and never
played with it enough to mess with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Jerry, you're up next. What's your story?
Well, I grew up in Eugene, Oregon, and back in the mid-'70s, we had 3 foot of snow.
Wow.
Eugene, Oregon is 365 feet above sea level.
Right.
Guess how many snowplow trucks we have?
Probably none.
Right, next to none.
None.
Yeah.
And my brother got married that storm, and we made it within 2 blocks of home before we finally got stuck.
Wow.
In I think it was a 71 Plymouth Fury 3 or something like that.
Wow. And you had 3 feet, you said? 3 feet of snow?
3 feet in Eugene, Oregon, yeah. And then, that was...
And in Eugene, I'm guessing that was not the light, fluffy stuff. It was probably heavy, wet.
It was heavy, wet stuff. It took us 3 days to shovel the car out.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long was the snow on the ground at that point, Jerry?
At that point, it only stayed for about a week.
Okay.
It melted off pretty quick.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
Well, that shut the whole city down.
Yeah, it came down real quick too.
Wow.
Then my second story is I was out on vacation out in Oregon. I was coming back through Denver to get to Kansas, and come out of the Eisenhower Tunnel headed east down towards Denver. in a 76 Trans Am with 60 series tires
Oh,
all
boy.
the way around it,
Skateboard.
Yeah.
and hit nothing but ice.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I drove, and I had my sister and her two screaming kids in the back. And I probably spent half my time in that next 10 miles coming down that hill sideways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You
That was one of
came
the-
home in one piece?
I got home in one piece,
Wow.
but it was one of those what you call a pucker moment.
Yes, I can imagine. For everybody.
Those cars didn't
Several
go.
of them, actually.
Those cars didn't go good on wet surfaces,
No.
much less.
No,
slick
none less
surfaces.
slick. Yeah. Good
Now,
stories.
this had a nicely built 455 with the 4-speed.
Yeah. Yeah. Good car. Those are fun.
Yep.
Good.
But, yeah, on snow and ice, not a good car.
No, not a good car. Not at all. Jerry, thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Wally, who's next. He's got a question on his 02 Ford van. What's going on, Wally?
Hey, John. We bought this 02 Ford van from a government auction last fall. It's only had 26,000 miles on it, and it's for my daughter and son-in-law who are missionaries to New York. They're trying to start a church in the Bronx.
Got it.
And
Good for
they're
them.
here for a missions conference. And when they picked up the van, apparently we got it in the fall, so they haven't had to use the AC much. But the AC is not working. But what they said was that if they're going up any type of an incline that's putting pressure on the motor, the blower and everything cuts off completely. And if they put it on the vent mode just to get fresh air in from outside, it starts putting heat through the overhead vents to the back. Any ideas? Would your shop be qualified to figure something like that out, or should I take it to somebody that specializes in AC?
No, we could. Ken actually sitting here. He's out on Colfax, just off 225 in Colfax. Ken could definitely look at it. So one of the things I want to make sure that I'm clear on is the actual speed of the fan and the air itself shutting down when they go up an incline, or is it just the blend door and stuff is moving to where the air's shifting from one area to another?
I haven't been in the van when it's happened, but according to them, it shuts completely down.
Huh, that's odd.
Got to be an electrical problem of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. And I think those are still vacuum controlled for the modes. So the up and down thing, and under heavier loads, of course, could have a vacuum issue.
Maybe you've got two problems, one being vacuum for the blend door and the other being electric for the motor itself. And and it's possible that, just thinking out loud, and I haven't seen the vehicle, but thinking out loud on a van, knowing how everything is all crammed in, if something is rubbing on something or there's a pinch somewhere, that would be the first thing I'd want to check, just to make sure there's not something getting pinched, pulled, something along those lines, because the motor shifts a lot more heavily when it's under heavy load like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
and you could some of that, Wally, check yourself, pop the hood and even the bonnet if you need to, and just make sure there's nothing that's getting pinched with between a valve cover or a pipe or AC, anything along those lines where you might be getting a pinch somewhere. Check that first.
Okay. And if I want to bring it into Ken's shop, you say he's at Colfax in 225?
Yep.
Yes.
And what's the name of the shop?
It's called TuneTech Automotive.
Okay.
And just give me a call Monday and we can set up a time that'll work.
Yep, he'll take care
Well,
of
it won't work this week because they've got to
Okay.
have the van for transporting kids and everything. But when they're going to Wyoming towards the end of the week, and then they'll be back for a few days.
Perfect. Oh, sure.
And we'll bring it in there.
Perfect.
So,
Okay. That's fine, Wally.
Sounds great.
Appreciate it very much.
You bet, Wally. Thank you very much. Tell him good luck. We appreciate that very much. And Wally's a faithful listener weekends and weekdays, so I appreciate him calling in very much. I do appreciate that. And Ken will take great care of Wally. That I do know. John, you're up next. What's your winter story?
Hey, yeah, well, I got one. I got two stories. But anyway, coming out of Boulder, on 93, and 93 is probably one of the most dangerous roads in the state, because anyway, getting up there, and it wasn't snowing too much, but the snow was blowing so hard at 60 miles an hour, you couldn't see anything, and I called Highway Patrol, and they shut the road down actually for a couple. I told them somebody's going to get killed out here if we don't shut this down. My other story is not really a disaster, but I was coming from Manhattan going through New York City on my GPS late at night on a Saturday night, And these, you know how these cart vendors got carts all over New York City?
Yes. Yes.
These guys were pushing their cars down the middle of the street, you know, taking them to park them for the night, I guess. I get around there going into the Lincoln Tunnel, and I swear to God, I don't know how these people do it, but one guy was merging from the left, and I was merging from the right. And my mirrors, I had this brand new Mercury I picked up over in Newark, and it had about 5,000 miles on it, and I didn't want to scratch it up. But modest to criminy, my mirrors were about 2 inches from these other cars coming through that damn.
Wow.
I just don't see how those people live back there under those kind of conditions. After living in Wyoming as long as I have, different places, you know.
John, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, really.
I've been there. I've driven in it. I know exactly what you're talking about. And no, I think I'll take my wide open spaces.
I take mine any day of the
Yep,
week, man.
Yep, you're right. John, great story. Appreciate that very much. And yeah, I can't argue with him on that one. So, all right, 303-477-5600. Give us a call. Winter driving stories, car problems, questions. When should I change my oil? You name it. We'll talk about it. 303-477-5600. A quick testimonial that I'll give you on one of our sponsors. So Quick Tread, you guys, we talk about them quite a bit here lately. Actually, I saw Paul Leuenberger, our insurance guy, and Quick Tread this past week, and talked to Isaac Bouchard yesterday. So I've actually been in contact with all three of them in about 2 days time frame. But Quick Tread came out. I needed tires on my truck. They were about half gone, and I knew we had a big storm coming, and plowing snow with half good tires is never fun. And I already had a little, not necessarily a big accident, but backed into a dumpster the other day because the truck slid when I was pushing snow, and didn't want that. And it, anytime that happens, it just kills me because I'm a very anal type guy when it comes to my cars. So that's something I'll have to get taken care of here once it quits snowing. But I needed tires, so Ken and Mike actually called Ken. Mike came out, and the way this works, folks, is literally made a phone call. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's kind of the tires that I want to do. And I want to go one size bigger. How do we make all this work? So Ken says, well, I think we can do this and this. So we talked for a few minutes and kind of figured out what we wanted. So I ended up with some BFG all-terrains, which is a good tire. I've had them in the past. Really wanted some Toyos, but didn't really want to spend the $100 plus per tire to do that. So the BFGs will work great. This is just a fleet truck. And so Mike shows up yesterday. Tires are all in hand. Pulls up. Fortunately, we have a rack to make it a little easier for Mike. So we rack the truck, raise it up. We get all the tires off. He throws them in the back of the van, gets them all changed, gets them all balanced, throws them back on, and off he goes. And I'm like, wow, that's painless.
Yeah.
Didn't have to drive anywhere. Granted, we can do all the tires and stuff ourselves, but keep in mind, yesterday we're getting ready for snow and we're running around crazy and trying to get everything else done. And the reality was, even for me, that was a huge blessing just to have them show up and get those tires done. So, folks, that's what Quick Tread can do for you. So if you need tires of any kind, give them a call, 720-588-9055. Now, I did talk to Mike and Ken both yesterday, and they're busy, which is good. So, no, you're not going to call them today and get tires installed before the snow hits. So do what you can to get through this next storm. And if you need tires at all, and again, I'm a big one. If you've got less than half tread on your car and you're trying to get around in these bigger snowstorms, put new ones on it and save those for summer.
Yeah.
Even if you flop them back around in the summertime and finish them out that way, which is what I'll end up doing. I'll keep these tires and either use them or put them on another truck or do whatever I need to. But
sure.
Again, quick, painless, easy, Quick Tread, 720-588-9055. With that, let's take a quick break. And Ken Rackley, John Rush, Drive Radio. We'll be right back after this. Lines open, 303-477-5600.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the
I'm used to you usually going KLZ 560 at the end.
bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let Quick Tread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and Quick Tread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, Quick Tread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give Quick Tread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Radio KLZ 560 along with Ken Rackley from TuneTech. And again, Ken is off of 225 and Colfax. Ken, tell him exactly where you're at and phone number.
Just to the east of 225. We're,
north side of the road.
Yep, north side of the Colfax between Chambers and Sable. Been there for ever and a day. So it's
really great shop. Ken's did a little remodeling in the front. And it's really I hate to use the term cute because now I don't sound like a guy anymore, but it's really a cute shop. Ken's got a great staff and highly recommend them. They do a fantastic job. Every time I walk in there, you just feel it's just a warm, you just feel like you're at home. It's great.
Well, thanks, John. Appreciate that. It's good to have good input.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great shop.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah.
So go check Ken out. Again, East Colfax, just off 225, north side of the road, blue building. Can't miss it.
I'll have the signs on the building here soon. It's
awesome.
Just City of Aurora's taking a little time on getting
awesome.
The
very cool.
So,
very cool. Ken's a great, and just so you all know too, Ken's not that he won't work on everything else because he will, but fantastic GM tech. At least I think he is. He may not think so, but I think he is. He's got a real knack for the GM side of the fence. And if you've got anything along those lines, but he does all the import stuff and, you name it, whatever you need, just call him and he'll tell you whether he can do it or not. It's that easy.
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Doug, who's up first. Doug, welcome.
How's it going?
Good, Doug. Thanks for calling us.
Hey, I have a quick question about a 13 Jeep Wrangler.
Sure, no problem.
You guys were talking about oil changes the other week.
Yes, last week.
And the thing about my motor, this new Pentastar motor they put in these new Jeeps, is they call for a P letter designation on the oil. The only oil that I've ever been able to find is like the Mobil 1 or the AMS oil. What does that P designation mean? And is there like a conventional motor oil that's a little cheaper to run?
There's not. And you do need to run the specific Mopar part numbered or not part numbered. There's a specific Mopar specification that needs to be on whatever the bottle of oil that you're using, whatever you're using, you need to have that specification on the bottle. And yes, it's very specific for Chrysler and that particular engine. And yes, you need to use that oil. It's kind of like, GM on the Dexos oil, similar situation. You've got to run that same oil. You've got to run the right oil in that Chrysler engine.
Interesting. Thank you, guys.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. That's a great question, by the way. It's something we didn't cover last week. So yeah, if your vehicle, Chrysler's got this now, GM with their Dexos, some of the diesel engines require a Euro diesel type oil. If it requires something specific, absolutely, you must run that oil in that engine.
Right.
It is a have to.
Yep.
There's no getting around it.
Yeah, they're so particular on everything along those lines.
VW was that way and still is, I believe. I mean, there's a lot of them that are very specific to the type of oil spec that you're running in that vehicle and make sure that you're using the exact oil that you need. Jack's up next. Welcome, Jack. How are you today?
Good to hear you guys.
Thank you, sir.
I got a funny story for you.
My mom and I went up to Vail to see my sister. This is back like 74, 75.
Okay.
And I had a Lotus Europa at that time. So this is late March. We're coming back down through the canyon, Clear Creek Canyon, and we run into a heavy snowstorm. 6 inches of snow, and I'm driving a Lotus Europa.
Wow.
Insane.
Wow. Well, and that's a lot of snow for that fast a time frame anyways.
Right. So,
which means the plows can't keep up. There's really there's really nothing that anybody can do. You just got to try to deal with it.
Yeah, I was kind of sliding on the snow because those were smooth underneath, and steering with the front wheels, sort of,
Right.
It was pretty insane. Anyway, you were talking about additives last week.
Yes.
And Marvel Mystery Hall. What's the story on that?
Give me a specific question on it.
Okay, is it a top cylinder lubricant, or what exactly does it do?
That's their claim to fame. Do you need it in today's engines? No, you do not.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about.
No.
Oh, one other question. On these direct injection cars.
Yes.
I've been hearing about carbon buildup on the intake side.
That's correct.
And from what I understand, there's no additive that will take it out.
There is not.
So you got to take cylinder head off and decarbonize
If it gets that carboned up, yes, that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way to keep that from happening is, and we talk about it all the time on the show, run a top tier fuel as much as you possibly can. In fact, in certain engines that are more prone to it, I would advise running a premium top tier fuel. In some engines or some BMWs, some particular engines, have a they're more prone for carboning up on the direct injection, and typically, you're going to know who, you're going to know what that is. I'm not going to go through the whole list right now. I'd have to go look it up because everyone's unique. But yeah, if you've got one of those vehicles that's prone for that, yes, run a top tier premium gas in it.
Okay, yeah, we've got an A4, a 2009.
Yes,
it's direct injection. So.
Yeah, and here's the other thing on them: as they've gotten later in life, it's gotten better. Some of the earlier direct injections, BMW, Audi, even some of the GMs with direct injection, they were worse than some of the ones that are now because, as with anything, the more we learn about it, the more advancements that get made, placing the injector in a different spot, all those sorts of things help. And it's not as, of course, we don't know exactly on a 2015 if it's better than on some of those, but gut feeling is it's going to get better as every year goes by.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Your
Appreciate
show.
the phone call. And I explained that correctly.
Yes,
Ken, because it is a problem.
Yep,
and we won't deny it. Direct injection is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful invention, but that's one of the caveats is you got to run good fuel in them because they can carbon up if you're not careful.
That's right.
And I don't know that I don't know if I've studied it long enough to know exactly why that's a problem. It's because I believe there's no wetting on the other side of the valve to help wash some of that potential carbon off that can actually kind of back up into the valve area.
With the different.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, the different valve timing and stuff like that. You've got certain
different things going on than
You're
what
right.
you typically would have in a
and it's not just the direct injection that has that.
No, that's true.
Carbon deposits either, but
no. In fact, some of the just regular fuel injected engines, some of the old 5.9 Dodges, the 4.3 Chevys were bad for it. Some of the Jeeps.
Chevys, the Jeeps 4 liters.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
So some are just more prone. Some of that cylinder design, cylinder head design, all sorts of things.
Exactly.
Gary, you're up next. What's going on today?
Oh, hi. I was calling because last week I had called and I said that I got a new Kia Forte, and
yes,
I thought that it said get an oil change at 3,000 miles, and you said no, that's wrong, and I double checked, and you were right. It says 7,500.
7,500. Great.
But I wanted to ask you a question. It's a brand new car, and I'm wondering, for the very first oil change, is there any reason to go before 7,500?
Nope. That
Okay.
engine's already been broke in. It's handled all that at the factory. If you read the owner's manual, it will tell you in the owner's manual, try to not put excess heavy loads on it, vary your speed, try not to keep it the same speed for a long time, basically just get the car, get in the car and drive it. The thing you really don't want to do with a brand new car is probably go out on a road trip and have it sit there at, 1,500 RPM for days on end. You want to have the load on it varying and things like that. But I'm guessing all of that's probably already happened on your vehicle anyways.
Yeah, and one of the things with one of these new cars, I also didn't get a spare tire. I got one of those
Yep.
flat fixers, and I think I've gotten maybe one flat tire in my entire life, so I'm not too concerned about it. But maybe once the car's at 50,000 miles, I might go buy a spare.
Well, and here's the deal: if you keep good tires on the car, typically, and I don't want to brag, but Gary, I'm kind of like you. I've not had a ton of flat tires in my lifetime either, but typically I'm not a guy that lets a tire run all the way down to 20% or less. I'm typically changing a tire out sooner than that because I don't want that flat tire.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to make that correction. Thank you.
No, appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling back in and giving us that update. Let's go to Russ and Cheyenne real quick before we take our next break. Russ, is it snowing yet? Heavy?
Yeah, it's coming out pretty good now.
Okay. All right. So it's making its way south then.
It's coming your way.
Okay.
I had a quick question. My mom's got a 99 Cherokee.
Yes.
She lives back in Michigan, and she called me the other night and said the oil pressure, when she pulls up to a light or something, starts dropping off once the engine warms up.
Okay.
And she's noticed if she puts it into neutral or park that the oil pressure will come back up again, which tells me that the RPM comes up and the oil pressure comes up.
Got it.
Okay.
Do those have oil pump issues, or they're like a release spring that goes bad in those, or it's the straight six and the?
Oh, it's a 4-liter. No, They're just prone to running lower oil pressure as they get age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just main bearing.
And I've seen them go all the way down to 7, 8, 10 pounds of pressure at idle, and honestly, they'll run fine like that. There's no problems with them doing that.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like the small block Chevy.
No. Well. It's kind of it's similar where a small block Chevy over time will develop low oil pressure also, but on that 4-liter, as long as it's not making any noise, rattling, anything like that, I wouldn't worry about it.
Should I ever start running 1030 in it during the summer?
Well, it wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt.
Actually, the oil really to run in that 4-liter, and you're gonna have to make sure somebody understands this that will actually do it, is put the 1540 diesel oil in it, because that's a flat tappet camshaft engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
And that oil work all year round just fine.
The Rotella?
Yep. Just run that in it.
Okay. Well, they're
and it may bring the pressure up a little bit anyways.
There's also a Valvoline Racing 1550, I think.
It works too.
And, but either.
Both of them have a little more zinc in it for that camshaft.
The 1540 that you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Quick driving. Do you got a second for driving?
You know what? I tell you what. Can you hold on and I'll get you right after the top of the news?
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it. We'll do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take Russ. Oh, and I hung up on Russ. Russ, call me back. I'll get you right at the top of the news. If you want to wait and even call back then, I'll get you first up. I'm sorry. Habit of hitting the wrong button. So, Russ, you're listening. I know there's a delay, but call me back. We'll get you right on. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Because when you're standing so near, I can't lose my mind. It's not the perfect next.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Monday on the morning show, we'll look back at one of the great kickoff events every single year, the 2015 Leadership Program of the Rockies annual retreat, plus the latest on the escalating scandal in leadership of the Colorado Republican Party as leadership elections approach. Your calls, news, traffic and weather with Woody, and so much more. Like us on Facebook at Wake Up with Randy Corcoran. Tell a friend and join us Monday morning, 5 to 8 a.m. here on KLZ 560.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me weekdays from noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. We'll help with consumer problems, give you quality business referrals, let you know about the latest scams, And we'll also give great help for seniors. Weekdays, noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. Check out our website, haystackhelpradio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Kay Long. Another huge Obamacare glitch. The Blaze Radio's Tom Peace.
This is just one more drip of problems with Obamacare.
That's Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy. This time, the administration apologizing for sending out incorrect tax information to 800,000 people who sign up for Obamacare. The White House downplaying the number of people affected.
800,000 people is a huge number, almost 10% of all of those who have enrolled in Obamacare.
Duffy on Fox News is on the record.
The administration, they're not in Obamacare. The IRS, they're not in Obamacare. So they're not going home and trying to sign up on the website. They're not getting faulty tax information. It's the rest of America who's getting hurt by all of these problems in Obamacare.
Tom Peace reporting. A Minneapolis police officer sitting in his patrol car shot. The police chief saying he's targeted. The officer wounded in stable condition. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560. Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, John Rush, Ken Rackley, KLZ 560. And just looking at the cameras, just an FYI, some of you that were out there could probably call in and tell me this as easily as I could tell you. But it looks like there's a little bit of snow falling in Wellington off of I-25, which is way north of Fort Collins. And nothing stuck to the highway quite yet. And as I move further north, it is snowing up towards the Cheyenne line. And as I get down into Fort Collins, the roads are just wet. So right now, it looks like things are in pretty good shape. And so Larry and Ken, I think in the next hour, by the time we get out of here, I think we'll be in good shape. Let's check on Scott Watley, who's down in Colorado Springs, to find out what's going on at the boat show. What's going on, Scott?
Hey, John. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Good. We are at the Colorado Springs Sport and Boat Show. We'll be here till 6 o'clock tonight, and they're open 11 to 4 tomorrow. And we'd love to have you come. You know, it is spitting just a little bit of snow here, but the roads are just wet, so there's no problem there. I drove up from Highlands Ranch this morning, and everything's fine. So it hasn't here as well yet. But we're at 3960 Palmer Park Boulevard at Academy, and a lot of great seminars going on, and just, man, a lot of people are coming in. So don't let the media scare you with the weather. And
Got it.
Come see us. We'd love to have you here. And we've met a lot of great people that are KLZ listeners, and trying to make a few of them KLZ partners with us as well.
That's awesome.
But,
good deal.
but everything is going well here, and we'll be doing our show hopefully, and our fingers crossed, live from here at 1 o'clock with Sportsman of Colorado.
That's awesome. Sounds great, Scott. We'll look forward to hearing from you. That's perfect.
All right, appreciate
man.
it, bud.
Have a great
Thanks,
time.
Don.
We appreciate that with Scott Watley, Sportsmen of Colorado. They're on right after our show, and then, of course, Scott is on every day. Haystack Help Radio right here on KLZ 560 from noon to 1. Let's go to JR, who's up next. JR, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I talked to Ken yesterday about it at his shop. I have an 88 Dodge Ram Charger.
Okay. Yeah.
This is oil intervals changing. Now, what's the difference between conventional oil, the use of that, and the Valvoline high mileage? And what filter should I be using on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah. When we had talked yesterday, we both kind of agreed to go on the gold filter on that one.
Yeah.
And the, conventional oil going with the 3,000 mile interval just because it is carbureted still.
Yeah,
and,
on an 88, I would agree with Ken on that.
Yep.
And because they didn't. When did they switch to fuel injection? 89 or late 88 or?
I think because it was
It's
right.
like
in that,
right there.
Yeah, exactly. And
carbureted vehicles, because of the cylinder wash, yes, you need 3 months, 3,000 miles.
Yep.
Even
Okay,
if you're
now,
running synthetic, I would say 3 months, 3,000 miles.
Even on the synthetic.
Yeah, just because you got a cylinder wash with carburation that I would.
Okay.
Do you recommend the high mileage oil, the Valvoline, or just the conventional?
That's you guys' call.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
How many miles are on it?
140,000.
Probably would, yeah. I think it helps the seals and stuff on the older engines as much as anything.
Yeah.
And the difference between the Napa, you got the silver and the gold. Is that just the filtration?
Quality of the filter, and you want a gold filter.
Yeah. The
Gold filter.
Yeah. The gold just has more filtration media in it and stuff like that. And then just gets more particles. And especially with that carbureted engine, it's going to have more debris, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed they sell a cheaper one for like $2 at Napa, like white.
You don't want to use that one.
Yeah.
Don't want to use it, even though they sell that.
Unless
out there,
you
right?
absolutely have to. If you're getting ready to sell a car, doing a cheap oil change, something along those lines, maybe. But even then, give the next guy buying the car good value and do it right.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
Enjoy the show.
Appreciate it. Yeah. No, carbureted vehicles, whole different story in oil changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's why our new cars will go 300,000 miles on an engine where the old ones wouldn't.
Right. Well, and he was saying, he doesn't get a lot of highway miles and stuff like that. So it's, shorter.
Definitely need to do that then.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Jeff, who's next. We do have a line open, 303-477-5600. Jeff, you're up next.
Hey guys, I don't get a chance to listen to your show all the time, but I'll tell you, I love just being able to call in and hear stuff going on. I learn something every time I listen.
Well, thank you.
Hey, so my son has a 94 Isuzu Trooper, and it seemed like his clutch was going out because his clutch would just pretty much go to the floor, and it would just barely get any gearage, to get going. And so he parked it and didn't drive it for a long time, and ended up getting a different car. And every once in a while he'd go start it just to kind of keep the seals lubricated and everything. And literally, it's been almost a year later, he jumped in it, just thought he'd see what the problem was, and everything worked fine. The clutch was fine. And he's been driving it around and hasn't had a problem. Is it possible that he did have some work done on it right before that? Is it possible there could have been like an air bubble or something
that's what I would tend to think. Maybe it just finally worked its way out. But I mean, typically they have to be bled out. But if it was a not releasing type problem, then there could definitely have been a hydraulic issue there.
That's the only thing. Is there any other explanation for why it would all of a sudden work?
No, just in literally, you could very well be right. And I've seen this happen. Sometimes we used to let vehicles just sit in the bay overnight, hoping that some of those air bubbles would just work their way out.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, sometimes you'd walk into the bay the next morning after letting them sit overnight, and
everything
voila, they'd work.
Yeah, right. I mean, you try bleeding something for a half an hour. Those Chevy trucks, like we had a call on earlier.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
And the Troopers were bad.
Yeah, yeah.
They were bad. The Troopers were bad. 4-cylinder Jeeps were really bad about that. The S10s were terrible for that.
Yeah.
So let's just say this. We've gotten much better in later years when it comes to all that than when they were first starting to make those hydraulic clutches work. Because those were the years where we were just going from mechanical linkage to hydraulic, and they didn't have all the bugs quite worked out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, I got one more question.
Sure.
Do we have time?
You're fine.
So I have a 2003 Expedition, and I know that the doors for the rear heat don't work, or the motors don't work to open and close those doors.
Okay.
And so the guy that I bought it from, he just would close them or turn them one way in the winter and turn them the other way in the spring, so that they would work right. But I'm noticing that when I drive it, the heat doesn't work. I mean, it works well, but it's in the front. But when it's real cold out, it seems like it has a hard time keeping up. Could it have anything to do with those doors still being open to the air conditioning in the back, or nothing?
Probably what he was moving was more the mode doors, so you want it in your face in the summertime and on their floor in the wintertime. That usually wouldn't affect the heat. There is another, I believe there's another door in there that, or a valve anyway, that keeps helps regulate the heat. So I don't think that would be a issue, not getting the heat back there with those doors, with the mode doors.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's probably another valving, or heater cores. We see a lot of restriction in heater cores and things like that. Being an 03, that's a possibility too.
What do you mean by a restriction? Like it might be getting old?
Well, no. Well, the coolant basically can build deposits in the heater core itself, and I'm not sure. We've seen a number of them do that, to where we were able to flush, the heating system out and, the cooling system out and restore heat real well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's a possibility.
Is that something you got to take in, or is that just a matter of just flushing coolant through? Well,
we use the Gates flush tool that works really well on that. And so there's better ways of doing it, of course, and that seems to be the best way that we've found. So that would be something you'd have to bring it in for, yes.
Okay. All right.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate the phone call very much. All right. Thanks. We've got lines open. We got 45 minutes of the show left. Call us with anything. Oil changes, lights on, emissions questions,
winter stories.
I'll give you some of our list of things you should have in the car as soon as we come back. I promise I will get to that, because I think it's important for us to talk about that. So we'll talk about those things. If I miss anything, call me. We'll add some things to the list. In fact, I'll just add it to my list, type it in, and I'll even update Facebook, which I did yesterday with this list, so we can even get a fresh list on Facebook. So share your thoughts with us. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio. Ken Rackley, also from TuneTech. KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturn. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa. Get the good stuff.
After 30 years of business, Geno's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Geno's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Geno's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's genosautoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com. and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
All right, and I think we've got a weather report. KLZ 560, John Rush, Drive Radio. Ken Rackley's also with me. We'll take this real quick from Wayne, and then Larry's got something he'd like to say. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning.
I heard you asking about the weather.
Yes.
Well, I got to tell you, about 15 minutes ago up here in Greeley, it really started coming down.
Okay, so it is snowing in Greeley now.
Yeah, so you better
Okay.
get your snow tires wound up down there.
We'll get out of here in about a little over half an hour right now. We'll be out of here, so it won't take much longer, and we'll be done, and we'll be on the road.
Yeah, I got a little snow story for
Let's
you if
hear
you
it.
got a second.
We've got it. Go ahead.
Back, oh my goodness, I was just out of high school carrying hod for bricklayers up here, and we'd been working on a school building down in Sterling. And of course, I'm in Greeley, and I decided one Sunday evening that I need to get up there and stock brick so I could get ahead of these bricklayers. And we had a blizzard in progress, and I had a 42 Ford, one of the old green Army productions of it, where it was just all green.
Yeah.
And I put some these cork embedded snow tires on the back, and I took off for Sterling and ran in that blizzard all the way from Greeley to Sterling. I met a snowplow driver out about halfway, and he hollered at me, asking me what the heck I was doing out there. And I drove on into Sterling, and we had a little trailer there that we kept stuff in, and I crawled in there and thought, well, I'll sleep a couple hours because I'm way ahead of these bricklayers.
Right.
I laid down for about an hour, and here come the bricklayers pounding on the door and wanting to know what I was doing up there so early and whatever. And I didn't get any stocking done at all. So there I was, but that was quite a trip up through there. I didn't think anything about it. I just jumped in the car and away I went. I don't think I even had a flashlight or anything. Who knows?
Wow. Well, we're going to talk about that list in just a minute. Wayne, thanks for calling in. Thanks for the weather update too, man.
Thank
I appreciate
you,
it very much. All right. Larry's got a quick announcement he would like to make, or not necessarily an announcement, but just somebody he'd like to thank real quick. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, John, I had a big surprise at the shop yesterday. I was sitting there, and my old buddy Joe from Nobody's Nowhere came in and gave me a present. He handed me a brand new edition of the updated version of the Marine Corps history.
Very cool.
Just for wanting to thank us and wanting to take us on and taking his calls and listening.
That's
to
great. That's great.
And
So
that's Joe.
Joe, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity, and our listeners are fantastic.
Yep.
Thank you so much for that. And you can hear Larry in there answering calls as we speak right in the background there. So 303-477-5600. Glade, you're up next. What's going on, Glade?
Hey, a couple things. I wanted to thank Ken Rackley for helping my daughter with her Dodge Caliber. We had a tranny problem, and so far it's been working fine.
Great.
Sarah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I stopped by the emission testing station, and I asked them, I've got a 2010 Mustang that I bought with 10,000 miles on it, and I said, with the new emission test, do I have to have it done since it's not 7 years old? And they said, yeah.
They're wrong.
Because it was a used car.
They're wrong.
Okay, well, I hope that's right.
Yeah, they are wrong because the way the new law states is it's a 7-year exemption, period. Doesn't matter if you're the third, fourth, fifth owner. It's a 7-year exemption, period.
Okay, good.
So and again, you bring up a great point, because I was listening to, I hate to admit this, but I was listening to Tom Martino for just a few minutes yesterday. I don't normally do that on Fridays, but it was car day, so I turned in just to kind of see what was going on. And even they were giving out incorrect information on his show. One of the things they gave out as incorrect information was you could drive by one of the roadside testing stations more than once in a 24-hour period, and they would both count, and that is incorrect. You cannot go by more than once in a day to have that test count.
Well, I tried it. I've got a Dodge Power Wagon in 06, lifted a little bit.
Yeah.
And I went out one day and I thought, well, I'm just going to drive. So I drove by about 6 of them in the same day. And I guess it's tall enough that it wouldn't pick it up.
Could be.
Try to go get the emission test.
That could very well be. Yeah, because they're using a laser beam now, And it's got to be, it has, the exhaust has to break the beam, and it's has to do with how it breaks the laser as to how it measures the amount of pollution essentially that's in the exhaust, and that's how they do it now.
Yeah. Two real quick stories on winter driving. Went back to Seward, Nebraska one year with my first wife, and it's Christmas time and got ready to come home, and I go out and get on the highway, and I look down and I can see the white lines, but there's a half inch of ice on it.
Yeah.
And I go, in Colorado, we never see that.
No.
And that was scary.
Wow.
And another time many years ago, some friends and I were going to Phoenix to a Trans USA motocross race. And we left Denver a half hour after the snowstorm came through. Never got out of the snow till 60 miles south of Flagstaff.
Oh, geez.
It took 24 hours, 300 miles with chains on. And the highlight was there was a Pontiac Catalina pulling a U-Haul trailer, and he did a complete 360 on the freeway.
Oh, boy.
And was able to pull over and park.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, especially.
But that was,
yeah, that's
you know,
bad.
when you have a bad trip, you'll never forget it.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
always
that's a
be
fact.
memorable.
That is a fact. You got that right.
Yeah.
Glade,
All right, thanks
appreciate it,
for your
man.
show.
Thanks for
Yeah,
calling in. We
thank you.
appreciate it very much. Let's go to Ron, who's up next. Ron, welcome.
Hey guys, appreciate your show. I'm out here in the Eastern Plains here delivering mail, so
Sure.
I thought I'd give you a call.
Well, thank you.
I bought a 71 Volkswagen to fix up,
Okay.
and I got the engine out, and I thought while I got it out, I got to get somebody to go through it and make sure it's okay.
Okay.
Valves and pistons and all that stuff.
Sure.
But Vern Hagstead isn't around anymore, so I thought maybe you guys could swing me to somebody that can do that.
Yeah, we had an engine about that same year done a few years ago by a shop called Painters Grinding. And
Painters?
Yep. And that engine is still, and that was back in like 2002, and that Volkswagen is still just going to town. Not a leak one too, and
Wow.
that's
amazing.
Possible on a Volkswagen. Yeah.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Where are they located? I don't have a computer, so
Yeah,
I'll have to
they're
find them by hand.
They're downtown-ish. Well, maybe not downtown-ish, but I'm not sure. I had one of my guys go drop it off and pick it up, so I'm not sure exactly where they're at. But they're not.
Well, I can look in the Denver
Yeah.
phone book.
Yeah,
probably
they're
and find them.
in Denver as far as I know.
831 South Jason Street.
Oh, okay.
831 South Jason.
Yeah, so I guess
So that's where they're at.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And if you can get online, it's paintersgrinding.com.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
my son's got a computer.
There
I may
you go.
have him look them up. Yeah.
Yeah, you can send them an email and ask them a question or two if you need to that way.
Okay, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you. Appreciate
bet.
your show.
Ron, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Good find there, Ken.
You know, I mean, and back when I had air-cooled Volkswagens way back, they were around then, and I had a couple broken cases and things like that they were able to do some repairs on. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Let's see if we can get one more call in. We got another half an hour roughly left of the show. Call us. We'll get you right in. Not snowing in the Denver area yet. It is coming. We just heard some calls from Greeley and, kind of those out and about areas. So it's coming. It's on its way. But give us a call, 303-477-5600. Anything you want to talk about. Roger, you are up next. What's going on, Roger?
My grandson has a 2001 Cherokee Sport.
Okay.
And it's not putting out heat. And the shop he took it to said it needs a new heater core. And to replace it, they would have to pull the engine. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Okay.
That is incorrect, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And
And I know that just because I've done enough of those over the years. I ran, my own shop for, years and years, and we did a lot of Jeep stuff. That was one of our mainline vehicles that we did. No, we never pulled an engine on an 01 Cherokee to put a heater core in.
Okay. And I got a question on the AMC Straight 6.
Okay.
For oil. Neither my grandson's Cherokee Sport or I have a 97 Grand Cherokee. He's got the Cherokee Sport. We both have the Straight 6.
Okay. You both have the 4-liter engine?
Yeah.
Okay.
The old AMC
Yep.
Straight 6.
Yep.
You were saying 15W40, was that just for the ones that are showing low oil pressure at idle?
No, on any of those 4-liter Jeeps, you can run a diesel. So Rotella, Dello, Delvac, any of the major brands, the diesel 1540 weight oil is what I would run in that 4-liter engine.
I was thinking about running the 5W40 synthetic.
You could. You don't need to. The 15 actually works well in that engine, and the little thicker oil in those, believe me, they got plenty of clearance. That's not a problem.
Right.
More than enough clearance. So I don't think I'd go as thin as the 5. The 1540 works well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it very much. Yeah, I don't know, Ken, where they'd get pulling the engine on it.
I mean, it's
because there's plenty of room there.
Yeah, it's just dash stuff, and
yeah,
yes,
it's a lot of dash stuff, but it's not. There's no, the engine's not on a 4-liter, especially. They're not in the way.
You're right. Yeah, because it's off dead
way
center,
to the side.
And then, yeah, exactly.
They just don't want to do it.
That's
And heater cores are not fun.
No,
and a lot of guys don't like doing them.
Well, you get some of the older vehicles, and there's a good chance things are going to break pulling them apart, and there's nothing you can do about it. And unfortunately, it's one of those things. But because it's like a 6-hour job to get in and do that. So.
All right, tell you what, let's take a quick break. A half an hour left of the show. Call us. Lines are open. I should have said that a minute ago. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. Oil intervals. In other words, when do you change the oil? What oil do you use? You got a light on. You got a noise. You got a problem. You got a driving story. We're going to give you some tips on what to keep in the vehicle when we come back. I am going to get that done today, so I will do that just as soon as we come back. In fact, we got 1 minute before we break. Here's a couple items. We talked about the flashlight. Flares, I think you should have at least a screwdriver, Phillips, and straight blade in the car just for who knows what.
You're right.
You never know.
Exactly.
A crescent wrench, because you never know what you're going to really need, and you can't fix anything with other wrenches because there's too many other things going on. So just in general, a crescent wrench can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
You name it. It can bend metal. It can do all sorts of handy things.
One thing that I have in all my cars and the kids' cars and everything is a Leatherman.
Perfect.
I mean, it's very universal, but it's but it can get you out of a job.
Oh yeah, because it's got a pair of wire cutters on it, and needle nose, and a knife,
stubby screwdrivers and
idea.
things.
I just added that. Perfect.
Oh, good.
All right, I'll get to 10 before we go to our break. Gloves.
Oh yeah.
Duct tape. I would say at least 2 reflective vests, and if you're going to carry, if you're going to have more people in the car with you than that, then I would get one for each, and they're cheap. They're $4 or $5 a piece. The disposable ones, they're cheap, and you need that. If I saw a guy today on my way down here changing the tire on the side of the road. If you're going to be out changing the tire on the side of the road anywhere, you need a reflective vest on. You really do. So you should have that in the vehicle anyways. An empty jug for gas and or water bottles. That's something you should just keep all the time, summer or winter, and keep a couple of candy bars and some protein bars just in case. Those things will last for a really long time. The shelf life is almost forever.
Kind of like Twinkies.
Almost,
but,
exactly. I don't know how long they'll last.
They just don't squish.
Quite some time. Throw them in a baggie, keep them in there just for grins. I've got a few more than that. We've got 22 of them actually that we'll go through, and I'll get through those before the end of the show. Anything you want to add? Any story you want to add? Lines are open. Call us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Arvada West is your answer. We score
the next bumper song. This one's for you.
We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. We use a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Matt's playing that song just for me. Don't worry, be happy. I'm always happy, for the most part.
That's the great thing about you, John. I've only seen you angry once in my whole time being here in 8 months. And the time you were upset, you had a reason to be upset.
There's a few times I've been upset on air during the week for different things. I got upset this past week at somebody that called yesterday. I won't get into the details, but let's just say that I there's some things I just don't bend on.
Oh, no. I knew that well enough working when I did Rush to Reason with you.
Just things I don't bend on. But anyways, one line open, 303-477-5600. We've got Freeman who's on the phone next. Freeman, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, on my way home, let's see, a 94 Chevy 3/4 ton.
Okay.
The heat gauge, it heated up to, it did one mark before 210.
Okay.
Well, that, I came on home at 210. It didn't heat up anymore. I mean, it
That's
didn't.
okay.
That's
fine.
They're designed to usually run right around that temperature.
Is that about right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Yep, that's typically where they'll run.
Okay, well,
Yep, you're fine, Freeman.
I didn't know for sure, and because I'd been used to driving another vehicle that didn't get quite that hot.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I understand. No, you're fine, Freeman.
As long as it's not fluctuating and your heater's, heating and stuff like that. Yeah, you should be fine there.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Well, after I parked it, and I look back later on, the gauge was over a little farther than that, but it wasn't until after I turned the key clear off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably just normal operation on that vehicle.
Wouldn't worry about it.
Being a 94. Yeah,
you're fine.
Well, okay, that makes me feel a whole lot better.
All
then
right,
I
good.
wouldn't, because it never got any hotter on the trip on in.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, Freeman. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the call and have a great afternoon. Real quick update, and I did check this on the Air Care Colorado website. Change of ownership. So Ken and I were talking through the break. We were pretty sure that the 7-year exemption was a 7-year exemption. Used vehicles that are for sale are required to have a new emissions inspection, even if the current inspection report still has time on it. However, there is an exception to this rule. If a newer used vehicle is sold and there are 365 days or more left on the original 7-year exemption, the vehicle does not require a new inspection at the time of sale.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's in other words, if you're buying a vehicle and there's there's still a year left, even in that 6-year exemption or 7-year exemption, I should say. So if you're in year 6, you don't get an emissions test.
That's good.
You're fine.
Yeah.
So there's that answer for sure.
And the DMV will, I'm sure, let you know when you go into
Air Care Colorado. In the last case, whoever was running that lane needs to go read their own website.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Because that guy was wrong.
Be up on the new rules.
There you go. Yeah. Randy, you're up next. What's going on?
Hello.
Hello, Randy.
Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
The security vehicle we drive at work here it goes 24/7. Got 4 different guys driving it.
Okay.
And it's got 170,000 miles on it. It doesn't do terrible. It uses about a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. But I wanted to know what contributes to oil consumption more. Is it sitting and idling or constantly starting or stopping and restarting the engine?
The starting and stopping of the engine is harder on the engine than just letting it sit and idle.
Okay.
So if you guys are running it if it runs that much all the time and you're shutting it on and off quite a bit, I would stop and just let it idle unless you're in an area where you just can't do that because of security reasons.
Yeah. No, we can let it idle. I just wasn't sure.
You're better off letting it idle.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. And that's for, in that particular situation, fleet operation, if they're in it and they can let it idle and so on, they're better off doing. That's why typically, the diesel engines are a little different. Like UPS, they're now pulling up and they shut off, and I think a lot of that's to do to fuel consumption. If you look at how many vehicles they actually have out, they're doing that, but that's a totally different ball game than the typical gas engine.
And even a lot of the UPS truck that pulls into ours is natural gas now.
Got it.
And
totally different situation also.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are a different ball game. So
exactly.
In that particular case, Randy, you just let it idle and you'll be in better shape there.
Yep.
Lines open 303-477-5600. Don in Arvada, you're up next.
Hi, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Great,
We're doing great, Don. Thanks for calling.
Good. I really enjoy your show. Got a question for you about a 2002 Ford Escort with a 2.0 4-cylinder split valve or split port.
Okay.
It threw a rod and I think went through the bottom of the oil pan. It's not my car. It's my brother's car down in Pueblo. But and he's wondering where we would go to maybe find another engine, or would it be better just to maybe throw a new crank and new pistons in the old one?
If it completely came apart like that, you're not going to really be able to salvage anything out of that engine. You're going to need to find either a buildable core and have it rebuilt, or get one that's already rebuilt, like through Jasper Engines or something along those lines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to get a used one, stick in there for a while. Do you know about where we'd go to find something like that? I've checked some of the salvage lots up here, and they were hard to find single port like that. The double overhead cam seems to be popular model, but the single overhead cam, they're hard to find.
I would think that single shouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think. Car-Dash Part, you might want to try that website. It's just car-part.com.
Okay.
And they'll, a lot of times they'll be able to sort something out, maybe on a used one.
And some of the local salvage yards, Pull and Pay, Stadium, some of those guys can even do a search between each other and see what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Stadium, yeah, I've dealt with them before. That's a good place to go.
Yeah. And that's, as far as used goes, that's when we just call around. Craigslist also is not a bad way of going. If somebody's got a car they're parting out, just be careful with Craigslist, because once you buy it, you own it. There's no repercussions.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I kind of stay away from Craigslist when I can. But,
I only go there when I have to.
Yeah, I've never done that. Don't plan to. But I got a little story for you if you got a minute.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, back in the late 80s, I had to go down to Pueblo for some business. Had an old 60 Dodge pickup, 2-wheel drive, an old farm truck. And it started snowing really bad, and it took me probably 8 hours to get home. Well, I was a mess when I got home. And my daughter, we got her a 66 Mustang a year or two before that. I told her, don't drive it to school when the weather's bad. But I got home finally, and I said, where's the Mustang at? I said, well, it's at school. So I had to get back in my car, go back over there and get that Mustang. It took me another hour and a half to get it home. So that was my storm story. Mustangs aren't good in the snow.
Oh, Mustangs are not good in the snow. Right. You are right about that.
No, it's not. So.
You're right.
All right. Thanks for your help, and appreciate your show.
Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. And somebody did send this in earlier, and I meant to mention this, and I just double-checked to make sure this still is the case. I-80 is closed due to due to weather conditions between Laramie and exit 323, between exit 323 and Happy Jack Road, and exit 335 to Buford, exit 335 Buford and exit 348, and between exit 348 and Auto Road and Cheyenne. So I-80's got a big section there that is closed, and they're saying, even on I-25, no unnecessary travel, I-90, no unnecessary travel, black ice on US 14. So most of it is in Wyoming at the moment. We're not quite there yet in Colorado. We will see when it actually does hit, but it is on its way. Lines open, 303-477-5600. And is it RI? Is that how I say this?
No, it's two initials, RY.
RY. Okay, great. How you doing, RY?
Good, thank you. I have a 01 Blazer.
Okay.
And at intermittent times, the brake light and the anti-skid light come on. They work together. I mean, when one goes out, the other does instantly.
Right.
I took it to a shop locally here, Tire World, and they have a complete auto repair facility. They put their gauges on it, their code readers, and they had it for a day, and they said they just couldn't find out what was wrong with it.
Okay. Thoughts, Ken? That's kind of an older vehicle, but any thoughts?
Yeah. When the light pops on, you're probably driving down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And does it stay on until you stop, or like?
No, it just stays on and off regardless of whether I'm moving or not, because I can come back later and start the engine and the light's still on.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean,
it's not leaving any information behind that they can look at, or did they
Yeah, they put the code reader on it, and they said
no code.
Some kind of an advanced reader, I guess.
Okay.
They said they just don't know what's wrong with it.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, should be able to get in with the GM scanner and see.
Yeah.
At least it should be setting some type of code, and kind of hard to say. But yeah, it should be something that's detectable. Just finding the right equipment to get in and diagnose that issue.
And that's a key one. And Ken just sort of said the answer, and that's finding somebody that's got the
Tech 2.
Tech 2, the actual GM scanner is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm trying to look at weather and everything all at the same time here to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But the Tech 2 is what you really need to have a look at that. I don't care how advanced a aftermarket scan tool is, RY. If you don't have the GM scan tool, you're not going to pull the information out of it that you need.
Okay, GM scan?
The GM scan tool is what you need. So you need to find somebody in Colorado Springs that actually has a GM scan tool. Or go to the, hate to send you to the dealer, but they will have one.
Yeah, I hate to go to the dealer also.
Yeah,
okay,
I do my best not to send you there. But if you drove up to Parker, Extreme has one, or drive up to Ken Rackley in Aurora, he's got one also. So it just depends on how bad you want to drive up here to get it fixed.
Because I understand it, with those lights on, the only thing that is in op is the anti-skid portion, because the brakes work fine.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, and with both lights coming on, it's definitely sensing something that's not only with the anti-lock system. So, I mean, even low brake fluid can turn the red brake light on. So it's, I mean, there's a lot of different things, but I'm sure that was checked.
Yeah, these are in sync. They always come on and go off at the same time.
Yeah, got it.
So,
what's the contact in Parker?
It's Extreme Automotive, and I'll tell you what, I'll put you on hold real quick, and Larry can actually get you all the information that you need, RY. In the meantime, we will take a quick break. We'll come back. Shad, you're on the phone. You've got a question on batteries. We'll get that answered as soon as we come back. We have a couple lines open. We can take some more calls right before the top of the hour when we're out of here. And then it's Sportsman's of Colorado. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right part store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At coloradoselect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
John Rush, Ken Rackley, Drive Radio, last segment. Call us. We'll get you on as quickly as we can. 303-477-5600. 10 minutes left is all we've got. We'll take all the calls, questions, anything you want to add to the show today. We'd love to hear from you again. 303-477-5600. Got a couple lines open. Shad, you're up next. What's going on?
Yes, I purchased a Transit Connect Ford, a small minivan.
Yes.
And I have machines that I run inside of it. They're DC motors.
Okay.
And I was going to add another battery.
Okay.
The guy was telling me I needed a dry cell battery to have it inside the cab. Is that necessary?
Not for what you're doing. You wouldn't have to. It would be nice just because you wouldn't have any of the venting of the battery inside. You know. But if you're using it for, if it's all open on the inside and you're just using it to work out of the vehicle,
it's a cargo van.
It wouldn't bother me to put a wet cell battery in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, some of them are actually inside anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Corvettes and what have you, they're all in the back of the trunk that's inside the car also. So it wouldn't it wouldn't bother me to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just be less chance. I mean, with the dry cell, of course, no chance of spillage or anything like that. But yeah,
you could run one of the Gates, probably for what you're doing, probably a Gates yellow top battery for what you're trying to do, or the other option. The other option you've got is if you do a Gates yellow top, that's a dry cell. It's actually not a dry cell. It's a wet cell with enough packing in it to keep it somewhat dry from spilling, but it still has acid in it. That's a misconception. You can also take a wet cell battery, and Larry just handed me a note here, which I need to remember. You can also put Thermoil, which is a product that QuickTread, one of our sponsors, sells, and you can put Thermoil in a regular wet cell battery, and it won't vent then either.
Okay. What was the name of that yellow top?
It's called the Optima Yellow Top.
Optima Yellow Top.
You can buy them at Napa or any, really pretty much anybody's got them.
Napa has them. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Shed. Appreciate the phone call. All right. Line's open. We can take 2 or 3 more calls before the top of the hour. 303-477-5600. And I didn't get our list finished. So let me go back to our list. Yeah. Scroll back up here and we'll get to that. So we stopped with something to eat. So next thing is, I'm one that, if you got an old, you don't need a full roll of paper towels, but one that's maybe got a quarter left, throw a roll of paper towels in there. One, it gives you lots of things you can do with the paper towels. wipe your hands, start a fire, all sorts of things.
Right.
They work for any number of cleaning up spills, checking the oil. If you get anything, you get in a bind, having some paper towels around, nice thing to have.
Yep.
Hand cleaner or some hand wipes, and they now make those in nice little convenient little clean packs. Napa sells them. You can get them wherever you want to.
Exactly.
I would say about 20 foot of parachute cord. It's always nice to have. You can tie things off. You can go make a little lean-to with some of the other things I'm going to tell you about in a minute. If you had to get out of the car for any reason, it's just handy to have, and it's cheap. It's inexpensive to carry around about 20 foot of parachute cord. Trash bags, and I'm not talking your 5-gallon type. I mean some good old 55-gallon black leaf heavy duty trash bags. Couple of those, you fold them up nice and tight. They'll go inside of a coffee can or anything. It's an easy thing to have, and they come in so handy.
Yeah, well, double as a rain jacket. I mean, just everything.
You name it. Rain jacket. You could cut them apart and make a fly out of them. With your parachute cord for a lean-to now.
Sure.
So many things you can use that for. Yeah. Stay warm if you need to. A space blanket's also something else that's very small, very inexpensive. Keeps you warm because of the way they're made. The other thing a space blanket's good for is a reflective on one side. So if you need to kind of get somebody's attention after the storm clears, you need some sunshine, to make that work. But you could actually use it as a reflective material that way. Candle and a lighter. A first aid kit, of course. I think that ought to be in every car all the time. Period. A small shovel so you can keep the tailpipe clear in case you really get into a storm where things are really starting to pile up. You want to keep the tailpipe clear or you'll die. Literally. I mean, newer cars are better, but you know what? They still have carbon monoxide and it can still kill you. So you want to keep that tailpipe as clear as you possibly can. A cell phone charger for your cell phone or that spare one phone we talked about earlier. Fill up your gas tank before a storm. That's another biggie that a lot of people forget about. Make sure your windshield wipers are working well and your windshield washer fluid is full.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe a little cat litter.
Right.
Not for your cat, but for a little traction.
Right. And I can name 19 of those that I probably don't have in my car.
Me too. So I've got probably half of those, and I need to go home and make sure the rest of them are in there.
Yeah, I've got
all right. Gene, you're up next. You got 2 questions. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? First of all, you guys rock. Love your show. Learn a lot from you. And Napa rocks too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I got two questions. One, I'm working on a 98 Isuzu Rodeo. I got a check engine light. I got a Mac Tools scan tool. I threw that on there. I'm getting 2 codes. One says I have insufficient gas recirculation. One says I have over too much gas recirculation. Any idea what's going on there?
What engine's in that Rodeo?
D6.
I'll look that up real quick.
That's
as quick as possible.
V6 also.
Yeah. Usually must be something that's kind of weird.
Something with EGR.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's too much or not enough, and that's probably Ken can check to make sure that I'm clear on this, but that's probably electronically controlled in 98. I think on the Isuzu engine it is.
Yeah. Some of those.
There's wires going to the EGR.
Okay, there you go. So it's electronically controlled. I'm not saying the EGR is bad, but that would be one of the first areas I think I'd look at.
Yeah. And is that the round EGR valve? Is it like round cylindrical?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the GM EGR.
Yep.
Sometimes we've seen those. Did it ever run rough? Do you know?
No, it seems to run good.
Okay. Yeah. And
they can get carboned up though.
Yeah, they can get carboned up. They can hang open. So then you would have too much flow, and then
they won't open and they get stuck. Then you have not enough.
Yep. Exactly. So that.
Typically I wouldn't tell you this, but that's one right. I think I'd almost put one on it and just see what it does.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Did GM use the same one on all the vehicles? Like I know if I got a Saturn, it looks like the same valve, but it is in.
You'd have to look at the numbers on the side of it to see if they're the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
They changed the orifice on those that they look the same, but if you actually look at the pintle and the orifice are different on the base.
Okay, cool. I'll get the right one and put it in and see what happens. Hey, second question. I got a 97 GMC Suburban 5.7 liter motor. And I got leaking power steering pump. And I'm looking to try to buy one, but they asked me if I got this some kind of electronic component on that thing.
Look on the pressure hose on the pressure supply hose to the steering gear. Does it have and see if there's a switch on there basically?
On the hose where it enters the steering pump?
Well, it would. it would be on the hose somewhere from the pump to. I mean, the pumps or the hose is pretty short, so it would that valve would be on there somewhere. And it doesn't have Hydro Boost, does it?
I don't think so.
Goes over.
Turbines, I don't think did unless they were 3/4 tons.
Right. Okay. Well, yep. So I believe that's probably what they're asking for, or if there's any type of valve on that pump, or but they usually put it on the pressure hose.
Yeah, probably isn't.
Yeah.
So there'd be an electric wire running to it somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I will check that
All right,
out.
Gene.
Hey,
You bet.
appreciate it, guys.
You bet. Thanks for listening, Gene. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to Joe, who's next. Joe, welcome. What's going on today?
Hi there. Got a 06 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with a straight 6.
Yep.
I think that's the
4 liter. Yep.
Yep.
And it has a flat tap cam in it.
Yes, it does.
My brother said to use ZDDP in the oil.
Just use the diesel 1540 weight oil instead of using the ZDDP. You'll be better off that way.
That's already got it in it.
Yes.
And that's
and you can buy it cheap, and it's all over any of the major brand diesel oil. So Dello, Delvac, Rotella, any of those would work fine.
Oh, okay. Any diesel oil.
Any diesel, oil for a diesel engine. 1540 weight.
Okay, and it's already got that in there.
Sure does.
Okay.
All right.
I was adding the ZDP.
Nah, you don't need to. Just run that and you'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much for your call. We appreciate it. All right, Tom, I think you're our last caller of the day. What can we do for you?
Oh, yeah, it's Tom. Got a quick question on oils. I have an 03 Astro van with a 4.3 I recently acquired. It's about 80,000 miles. I think it's had conventional oil in it. If I switch to synthetic, will that cause leaks? Is that kind of a lot
of guys will tell you that it does, but if the leaks were there, they're going to be there whether you're running regular or synthetic.
Okay.
Makes no difference, despite what some guys out there may tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
No problems there. There's a lot of old wives' tales still floating around out there. So, appreciate that, Tom, very much. And everybody, thanks for your calls so much. We got about a minute left. Sportsman's of Colorado is coming up next. Scott Watley, they're down at the boat show in Colorado Springs, going to be broadcasting live. Ken Rackley from TuneTech, thanks.
Yeah, always good to be
here. You always did a great job. It's perfect.
Thanks.
Appreciate it,
John.
No, thank you very much. So go out and see Ken. I-225 and Colfax, just on the east side of Colfax, north side of the road, blue building. You can't miss him. Go see Ken, one of our great shops in our Colorado Select group. You cannot go wrong going to TuneTech Automotive. Larry from Larry's Automotive on the other side of the glass always does a great job for us also on the production side. And Matt Matulik, our engineer. And as always, all of our sponsors, please go check them out. Tell them you listen to Drive Radio. Isaac Bouchard, our broker, 303-475-1462. Paul Leuenberger, he's with American National Insurance, 303-619-9891. Quick Tread, Ken and Mike, 720-588-9055. They do all of our mobile tire, they're our mobile tire shops, what I mean to say. Napa Auto Parts, appreciate all the support they give us, and K&N Auto Parts also, or not K&N Auto Parts, K&N Filters. They do a great job also. Thank you so much for that. And guys, with that, we are out of here. Colorado Select Auto Care, they're the guys to go see. Check them out at drive-radio.com. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, and I'll see y'all on Monday at Rush to Reason at 3 o'clock. John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments, download previous programs, and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio